This is the GPL podcast from GopherPuckLive.com. This podcast is sponsored by Jerry Peters and First Class Mortgage. Our expertise, your peace of mind. Visit us at FirstClassMortgage.com. Now let's start the show with your hosts, Jupiter and Vigo. Good evening and welcome to the GPL podcast, episode number 210. There he is, Viggs. How are you doing tonight? It was a good weekend for the boys, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little surprising how well this team is playing right now. I was not expecting that result of the weekend, and it was very pleasing hockey to watch.
Boy, was it ever. It was, I predicted 5 points, but I was trying to keep some positivity. And, you know, they sweep Ohio State 3-2. Great game. And then that kind of blowout I was looking for. The first game happened. The second game, it wasn't a Jekyll and Hyde weekend, Viggs. They played really solid Friday night. Got a decent win on the road. Second night, they didn't let up. They came right back to it, and they took care of Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't think we saw the Buckeyes' best performance over the weekend. Steve Rollak was not happy with his team after the weekend. He didn't think they rose to the challenge that Minnesota presented for them. But on the flip side, Minnesota took advantage of the chances they had, and we just saw the skill that's throughout this lineup. You know, the freshmen are really playing confident right now. And when that skill comes through, it's impressive.
Yeah. Obviously, Pitlick he has arrived.
And they needed him to arrive as well. I mean, this is a roster where when the Nyes line and Myers line, when they left for the Olympics, you're going, where are they going to get scoring from? You were just really worried who in this lineup was going to be able to step up. And that line has played so well the last 4 games that you look at this team going forward when they get the Olympic guys back. Is this a 3-scoring line team that has a lot of depth?
And does he take Lucius off the freshman line and put him back? Or is he just kind of fit those 2 guys back on the forward somewhere?
I mean, you probably keep Nyes and Myers together when they come back, but this freshman line has looked really good together. And I think sometimes when you have these young players, they'll defer to veterans, you know, and they might overpass. They might not play very confidently. This group looks really good together, and I think their skill sets fit together really well as well.
What did you think about the power play this past weekend?
It's still something that I think is a work in progress for them. I think they're doing a great job getting set up in the zone. I think they're doing a better job getting pucks to the net. They just need to keep at that and get the second chances, because I think the power play unit gets really dangerous when they get pucks on net, they get second chances, and they create a lot of chaos. I don't think this is a real pretty power play group for whatever reason. Like, they're not going to wow you with their puck movement and seaming pucks all over the place and just being super dangerous. But I think it's a team that could get some volume of shots and get second chances and get gritty goals that way, especially when you look at guys like McLaughlin. Yeah. And then when they get Nelson back, you know, that's how they've been scoring goals is, you know, second chances, putting away the trash.
If you're watching us live, either on Facebook or YouTube, or just feel free to message us, you know, add a comment. We'll try to get to your questions during the show and allow you to participate. I'm going to add this up here for the live viewers, Viggs. Michigan moves up on the first place, Minnesota in second, Ohio State in third, just a point back. It's still technically a 3-way race for the top spot. But, you know, Notre Dame, Michigan State this weekend, I can see Notre Dame doing that one. You know, we've got Ohio State and Michigan. We've kind of become Ohio State fans all of a sudden, didn't we? We don't like you last weekend, but this weekend we need you to perform because with the 2 games in hand, boy, Ohio State could really help Minnesota, in their attempt to get the first place.
Yeah, I think that's a huge weekend to look at. And I think Ohio State's going to be playing better than they did against Minnesota. That team is a dangerous team, and they just didn't really have it against Minnesota. I thought they were too relaxed and they played too passive. It was almost like, some of those Notre Dame games where the team will just sit back and is not very aggressive. And Minnesota has shown over time that they are really good if their opponents try to put that game plan into practice. And I don't think Ohio State will stick with that when they play Michigan. That's their big rival.
Ryan K has a question. Thankfully, Lacomas look better, but should we be concerned with Johnson on the blue line? We did have an instance at the end of the game on Saturday. Johnson took out a player with a bit of slew foot within his tackle.
Well, it was Brinkman who's out.
I am so sorry. I was thinking Brinkman the whole time, but yes.
Yeah. I think Brian Johnson maybe hasn't had his best year from the eye test. It's interesting that there were some analytics that are being put out by Instat. They do a lot of tracking of defensemen and what kinds of things, zone exits, clean exits, carries, possession, takeaways, giveaways, things like that. And they actually have Ryan Johnson as one of the best defensemen for the Gophers, better than Faber by a lot, according to these stats. Now, I think my eye test says Brock Faber is a very, very elite college defenseman who proved that in the Olympics. He's a good player at that level as well. But I'm not super concerned with Ryan Johnson. His ability to skate and move are elite. He's a really good skater. I think the offense maybe isn't there for him, but it'll be important for them, I think, to really rely on Lacombe, Johnson, and Kester this weekend with Brinkman out on Friday and Faber probably not being back yet. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the D, because I think Rossini has gotten a couple shifts, but I don't think you want to be playing him a lot against Penn State, a team that's super physical.
Yeah, completely my mistake, confusing Johnson Brinkman there on the slew foot. Let's talk about Brinkman and the slew foot. I'm guessing if it happens earlier in the game, like first, second period, he might not get that extra game. Just because, hey, it's at the end of a game, you give a guy a 5-minute major and game is kind of, it's not really too much punishment for a kid, especially when you're winning the game. So maybe there's some of that to it, but you know what? I had no problem with the suspension. I think it's a dangerous play.
I thought it was a little severe to suspend him. I could understand the penalty and things like that, but I don't think it was a malicious play with intent. It was Brinkman going, oh, this guy's going to run me. Okay, come on. Give me your best shot. And he just kind of taunted him a little bit with a little look at the end. Not a great look. It's obviously a penalty and something that college hockey tries to take out of the game and didn't want it to escalate. But I thought it was kind of a weird suspension for me.
Well, maybe it does come back to that. Hey, it's late in the game. He really didn't get punished for it. This is the way to punish him.
Right. But I don't think it was that dangerous of a play. It's not like one of those boarding calls where you're putting someone headfirst into the boards or checking somebody from behind. I didn't think that there was a lot of risk of injury there. Sometimes on these slew foots, people go down head first. And I think that's why slew footing is, the severe penalty where it's a violent crash to the ice with a player who's not expecting it. This is a player who is trying to initiate contact with Brinkman. I don't think that it was a violent slew foot, if we're trying to put levels on it.
Our boy Tim Hapke, do they mostly play 5 defensemen in one game with Rossini getting limited minutes? I mean, that kind of brings up the topic. Are we more likely to see Denman or Rossini?
I mean, Bob has shown he's trying to get Rossini some playing time.
I mean, he probably has no legs, but
yeah. So I don't know if that's just getting him acclimated in case they do need him at some point. I would think they will play mostly 5 defensemen as long as the game is tight. Carl Fish's emergence has been really important for this blue line.
Oh, I really like
And
this play.
and
Really
they will
like this
really count on him this weekend because I think this is a good matchup for
play.
him against Penn State. You know, a team that likes to be physical in the forecheck. I think it'll be a nice coming out weekend for Fish.
So a great weekend, 6 points against Ohio State. We leapfrogged them in the standings. Michigan's only 2 points behind. Now we're big Ohio State fans. Things are going well. We did great without the players gone. But the bad news is those players over in Beijing had the rug pulled out from under them late last night, Vigs, early this morning. Lost in the shootout. I feel that, I noticed you did remark on Twitter last night that all the guys on the ice when they tied the goal were Minnesotans. I don't know if I have a problem with that. It's tough to defend. I noticed they had a hard time defending in their zone when any team got a puck control in there. I mean, for the whole tournament. But boy, it was just a shame to see it end that way. They just couldn't take advantage of their opportunities in that entire game.
Yeah, and they had chances to score. I thought
Yes.
the goalie for the Slovaks played really well, and it was just they couldn't solve them. And that power play, when you're rushing to put a group together for the Olympics, your power play isn't going to be polished. It always surprises me though that when you have opportunities like that, you have these elite talents, and they just can't quite figure it out, and they kind of step all over themselves in situations like that. I'm sure having Sanderson out, he's a player that they probably wanted to project into those power play minutes. And without him there, it's a little bit of a yard sale on how to organize that group. Brock Faber doesn't even get a lot of power play time at Minnesota.
He was getting quite a bit of power play time last night.
Right, which is interesting because I definitely thought Faber was going to be more power play happy this year with the Gophers, but it hasn't really been the case. Bob's kind of leaned on Lacombe a lot, and Kester and Johnson here and there. So we'll see. It was too bad for it to end in a shootout.
I'll get to that in a second. One of my frustrations, I'm going to complain about the refs. Quite a few high sticks, dangerous, I would say, high sticks, not called. We had Nyes in the last 2 or 3 minutes take a shot up high. I mean, when I watched that replay from the reverse angle, the puck's up high. You could see Nyes look, I should swing it. No, if I swing at it, it's going to be a high stick. You could see him kind of that thought in his head, don't swing at it. And just as he finishes his, thought on it, whack a stick comes across, hits him, and then it gets up into under his eye shield. The ref's right behind sees it, you would think. We saw a point in the first period. Was it Beniers? Somebody took a shot up high, may have been bleeding a little bit up here.
I think that was Beniers.
Yeah, and then I saw in the second period, I saw a player's head snap back from a stick up. So at least 3 of them weren't called. That was frustrating because the nice part at the end of the day, they could have sealed the game and not be, 6-on-5. It's if they pull it, it's 5-on-5. It's a way to kill the game. I don't know what the refs were thinking. Maybe they seemed obvious to us, but with that many eyes on the ice, how do they miss that?
And usually international tournaments are called tighter.
Yeah, that's
in my mind. I mean, that's been my experience. It's a tightly called game. Anything close gets called. It's not like the Stanley Cup playoffs where anything goes. I was surprised on Nyes' kind of rush. There was a stick in his hands on that rush that took away that scoring chance a little bit
at the end of the game or the end of the overtime.
Yeah. I'm just surprised. We usually see tighter officiating in the Olympics. Who knows if the power play would have been able to take advantage of it anyway,
that is
based on the way they were playing.
True. My point was more at the end of the game. You have a chance to really milk away the game because I can't remember the exact time. It was 2 or 3 minutes, whatever, when that Nyes incident happened. Obviously, you can't change that, but I was surprised. I didn't know the overtime rules. All of a sudden, they start out 3-on-3, and I noticed quite a few people in the media didn't know it either. They're like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
And even more shocking, nobody scored in 10 minutes of 3-on-3 hockey. It was a little crazy. And there wasn't really super huge, great chances. There's a couple, and, Faber broke up a great opportunity. But it wasn't like it can be like we've seen in the NHL.
Yeah, I thought the overtime was entertaining. I was surprised it was 3-on-3 for this too, but I understand it. They want to try to get the games over and not have them drag on forever. 3-on-3 is kind of gimmick hockey, but I thought both teams did a nice job of playing that possession hockey like you have to do in overtime, and the chances were limited, and it wasn't so racehorse hockey like we've seen some of the times in the Gophers 3-on-3s this year. And there were chances both ways. Good goaltending. That Strauss-Mann guy, he played pretty well.
That's his last name, right?
Yeah, Strauss-Mann. Yeah. Announcers, they can't help themselves.
It's funny. Right after that, Albert started using man a little more often. Yeah. I'm giving Vosters the credit because he was probably there in the studio. I'm guessing Vosters just went right into say man a little more often, not just Strauss-Mann. Who knows? Obviously, huge disappointment. Not what we wanted, but I was thinking back some of the reffing. I was really surprised overall with the reffing. International play, like you've said, we've seen a lot of times the Americans come in and the Canadians come in. They get a lot of penalties because of the style of play they play. High sticking, stick checking, interference. One thing that really bothered me about the U.S. game versus Canada is that Canadians were getting away with a ton of interference, a lot of clutching and grabbing because they couldn't keep up with the Americans. Nothing was called.
Yeah, definitely a surprising
statement. That is not international hockey from what I've seen in all the years I've been watching. They call everything.
Yeah, very atypical. I didn't watch a whole lot of the games other than the U.S.-Canada game and then the quarterfinal last night. But, I imagine we'll see in the women's game tonight a tightly officiated game, I would expect. And that USA-Canada women's team is always a physical affair. It's going to be intense tonight to watch.
So everyone's back in. Can the players get back? The players are not coming back this quickly. And we shouldn't even – I don't even know why it was a discussion on Twitter today and a few other places. These kids need a rest. And you shouldn't travel literally half a world away. And your internal clock is going to be so messed up for a while. Even if they, when they come back for Wisconsin, they're still going to be messed up, Viggs. It might take them a couple weeks to get really back into some kind of normal time.
Yeah, we've seen this before with guys coming back from World Junior. The coaches try to ease them back into the routine of practices and things like that. I'm sure Bob will give them a couple days off. He's been giving the team off Tuesdays the last couple of weeks here, trying to rest them up. I'm sure they've got some catapult data that Cal Dietz is put in the hands of whoever's taken over for him while he's been in China, and just kind of figure out ways to get this team recovered because they are playing well in the games. So they just got to do whatever they can do to keep that going. I do. Corey V's got the comment, Mel, get in there, guys. I'm pretty sure that Michigan would like to have their players back as soon as possible for this weekend. So maybe Michigan will have a private jet, get those guys back for their series with the Buckeyes.
Oh boy, that would be stupid. I mean, they could be a liability. I mean, for Michigan, I think they're pretty good. I think they'll be okay. I mean, they've been doing okay with their players gone. They've been kicking some pretty much butt.
But they haven't played the elite teams.
Yeah, but Minnesota wasn't beating up Michigan State at home like Michigan just did. At home and at the new whatever the new Joe is, Little Caesars or something.
Little Caesars, yeah.
They kicked their ass. I mean, they dominated that entire weekend. There was nothing in doubt there. So who knows? I'm trying to watch the time here. We're going to try to keep this podcast a little shorter and get to overtime so we can all kind of pay attention to the women's game coming up here. And kind of what that means, we need to get to our sponsor.
Hey, fellow GPLers, Jerry Peters here from First Class Mortgage. Have you refinanced your home in the last 12 months? If you haven't, chances are you should. Record low interest rates and skyrocketing home values make this the perfect time to remove monthly PMI while improving your interest rate at the same time. You can also use the equity in your home to finance those home improvement projects. Or you can consolidate high interest rate credit cards into one new low monthly payment. To hear more, call or text me today at 612-940-3291. You can email me at jerry@firstclasscorp.com, or you could go to firstclassmortgage.com to fill out a free online application. Mention the GPL podcast and receive a $300 closing cost credit. Some restrictions do apply. First Class Mortgage's NMLS number is 322842 -480200. This is not an agreement to lock into an interest rate under Minnesota law. First Class Mortgage is an equal housing lender.
Kind of a little hesitation there. Not sure what happened there, Viggs, but I think we're okay. Viggs, I know she posted some messages in the chat here. Are these questions you saw from people messaging you?
Yeah, we've got some followers out there who don't know how to use the GPL podcast hashtag. And so they're just replying to my post, which is fine. We'll take those as well.
Like Pat Macallan.
even Pat Macallan. He's been a busy guy. He was talking about Danton Cole keeping his job at Michigan State this week. Which
we talked about last week. So
yeah, he's probably an expert on St. Cloud and UMD and why they keep falling in the pairwise. Is the Big Ten maybe the best conference in college hockey this year?
For me, Viggs, let's wait till the end of the season because we've seen it before.
We've seen it before. Big Ten's has gotten the big ego. They get the 2 number 1 seeds and a couple teams in, and then NCHC takes it to them. So they got to prove it in the playoffs, obviously, before they can take that crown.
Like you said, Pat Macallan asking who comes out of the lineup when the Olympians come back. I've seen some mentions on GPL. People even talking about Nelson's coming back as well, but Nelson's not a big point guy. Does he even automatically get back in the lineup? It might be a little tricky situation for Coach Moscovici.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where they're going to play 13 forwards. Bob has liked to do the 70 instead at times, but I think he'll go with 13 forwards here when they get the guys back. Colin Schmidt's probably going to be the guy who's going to come out. He has been an interesting player to watch with his physicality.
I do like that.
I have liked Penn State. That would be kind of interesting to see. That Sorensen, Perbix, Schmidt line has kind of been a Bash Brothers kind of group, which is fun to watch sometimes. But I think that line also is the one that might be getting replaced because I think you're going to want to keep the freshman line together with Lucius, Huglin, and Pitlick. I think you're probably going to see Walker, McLaughlin stick together. Who knows if Brodzinski gets to stay on that line? He's kind of a streaky player.
Put him with Nyes and Myers.
I think that might be a good fit for him. A line where they can do a lot of work and he can sit back and pick corners. He can shoot. Yep. I think he kind of gets into trouble sometimes with the Walker and McLaughlin line because they get so stretched out and they're not really connected. He was kind of talking about this week during availability. It's like when he's out there with them, he's just trying to keep up. And that's never a great thing as being that third forward, where you're always just trying to get into the play rather than finding the right spot to be and having line mates who get the puck back to you. I have noticed Walker moving the puck a little bit more lately. Which is nice to see and early. Brodzinski talked about that in availability today too. He's like, that early pass has been really good for their line.
Darren Westfall is asking, did Nyes or Faber do anything at the Olympics to boost the possibility of them leaving college after the season? I think that's an excellent question, but it was strange that we actually heard this week that some people are saying Nyes should stay another year.
Well, I think it would certainly benefit him to stay another year.
Fit the team, I'll tell you that.
It'd be good for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Mel Pearson's been saying that Nyes is a one and done type talent, and you watch on the Olympic stage, Nyes drives the game 5-on-5. which is pretty rare for a young player.
Mhm.
That's the thing that I've noticed, how well he grinds and gets the ground game going. I think a lot of times with the Gopher teams in the past, the young freshmen who are talented do really well in the rush and they contribute some on the power play. But 5-on-5, they kind of disappear. I think we're seeing that a little bit with Lucius at times. He kind of disappears in the 5-on-5 play because he's not able to make an impact, winning board battles and things like that. But Nyes, that's where he shines, making plays, playing physical, using his legs to separate. So I would not be surprised either way with him leaving. I do think how this season turns out will be a big factor with these players. If they have a great playoff run and maybe this is the year, then maybe it's easier for those guys to sign some pro contracts and go on the NHL. And I think the fans would be happy with that if they had a very successful year and could do that. But this is a group where if they came back, they're going to be dangerous again.
I got this message on GPL from Magic. Could Walker, McLaughlin, and Cruikshank return next season if they wanted to? I think a lot of that has to do with what Motzko wants and less of what the player wants, Viggs, and whatever fits into his plan. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, they would have an extra year of eligibility because they
do.
played during the COVID year. So they could play another year of college hockey. Now, this year, teams could have extra players if their athletic director would pay the extra scholarship money. Next year, that goes away. Teams have to abide by the cap of 18 full scholarships to divide up. So there's no extra money next year. So they would have to push back players who are committed and expecting to come in next year. And it's looking like a pretty full class for the Gophers.
Yes.
I as much as they've done for the university and as many points as they've put up, I just don't see it happening where they would come back. But that's just me.
I'll be honest, I've been a little disappointed in Cruikshank. He was more of a goal scorer at Colorado College, and we just haven't. He's been a little snake bit, I will say that, but we just haven't quite seen what we thought we could get out of him.
Yeah. I mean, we thought he'd be a plug and play guy, 10, 15 goals, and it's been a struggle for him. He still is a great skater and he's been good on the penalty kill. And so he's contributing in other ways, but I have to agree with you. It's been a little bit of a disappointment.
Darren Bakken sent you a message, Viggs. Is Ben Myers top 3 in Hobie Baker in your opinion?
I think he's probably one of the top forwards in college hockey, but I don't think he's a Hobie type candidate.
Top 10.
Yeah. I just don't see him as a Hobie candidate just because the point scoring has not been there for him over a career. Sometimes the Hobie is a little bit of a lifetime achievement award.
Yes.
Somebody who's been a darling of college hockey for a couple of years and then gets the award, and, the humanitarian aspect of the award comes out for some of these players.
Like maybe a Dryden McKay. If he doesn't get the Richter.
If he doesn't get the Richter again, yeah. So I think it would be hard for Myers to win the Hobie right now.
Okay, Jackie Gabrielson, what kind of rotation/pairings do you think we'll see at D on Friday with Brinkman out due to his suspension?
Yeah, a lot of times colleges will try to put their top 2D and just rotate those two and then rotate the other 3. And we might see something like that where we see Lacombe and Johnson playing for each other. And so one of them's always on the ice. And then that third D rotates through Stodiker, Fish, and Kester. So we might see some of that with spot duty for Rossini. Sometimes like after a power play, that's a good opportunity to get that third pair out there. So we might see some of that.
Okay, and then finally, Don Hansen wants to know favorite whiskey in your collection or that you have tried.
So this comes down to 2 whiskeys for me.
Okay.
One is a Van Winkle Lot B. It's a highly allocated, sought-after bourbon, and it's just got all the right richness and smoothness and long finish. It's very hard to acquire, but I was lucky to get one a couple years back. And I still have a couple sips left in the bottle that I've been saving for some special occasions, but it is a fantastic bourbon if you ever can find it. The other one on my list is a whiskey that you can find. It's called Macallan Rare Cask. And Macallan sets aside these great casks of whiskey, and they just have these great candied sugar notes and just rich sherry notes. And it's just an outstanding whiskey. It's probably more like a $300 type bottle, and you can find them because it's priced high, but it is outstanding. Great special occasion, 40th birthday, 50th birthday, retirements, birth of children is a great bottle to celebrate.
I had some Macallan 12, I believe, over Thanksgiving. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I have not had as much whiskey as all of you. I tend to just get my brand and stick with it. I am drinking a lot more Larceny, which you introduced me to up in Duluth many years ago. It's not expensive, but I enjoy it. That Macallan was pretty good, though. We finished off the bottle that night. It was a little dangerous, quite a bit dangerous. Hey, any questions in the regular chat here? Let me see here. Corey V missed the start of the pod, but was the Sunday game at UW the lowest ever attended conference game by either of our schools? Has to be close. I know it was low. But did Todd say? Was he say 1,400? That somebody did a count or something? I'm not really sure. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. The Big Ten tourney game at Mariucci might give that game a run for its money.
Well, that was
drew the ire of Pat
those
Micheletti.
games were 1,800 and 2,300 scanned.
Okay.
I went back and looked at that actually. But the start of the game, oh my God. And obviously that's why Pat Micheletti got mad at me. So
yeah. But I'm sure Todd will get scan numbers at the end of the year, and we'll be able to have a comparison and find out if it indeed was. It's I'm just glad they got the game in.
I am too. Let's keep it all balanced so we don't have to go to any sort of, point percentage. But the point percentage is pretty close to the actual. I mean, it's right lined up right now, so it's looking pretty good. Oh boy. Okay, Vigs. Let's start talking about this weekend. House of Horrors. I know the players, a lot of them haven't played there since it was canceled last year. The last time the team was there, they played better. But it's still not the greatest place to play for Minnesota. But I've got some numbers here. They haven't won a regulation game since the 2016-17 season. That was a weekend when they went in there, won in regulation, and then won in overtime. That was the big one where Kluse scored in late, 5 seconds left off a faceoff, and then Pitlick scored in overtime. And then we heard Dan Kelly, Nighty Night, Nittany Lions, as Gophers got 5 out of 6 points. Following then, a loss, overtime loss, canceled. So, yeah, Minnesota's a good team this year. Penn State's not as good of a team. But, man, a lot of times it's just in your head, and we know how many pucks they like to get on net. I don't think it's going to be any kind of easy weekend at all.
No, it's not. Bob said on his radio show that you have to play conservative when you play Penn State. And then I asked him, what does he mean by that? And he's like, you got to stop, focusing on what I say, more what I do or something like that. He was a little mad about that. But it's true. They have to play a conservative game against Penn State. Too often they try to force action, and that's been the Achilles heel for Minnesota the last couple of years in these tight games. They almost give away a goal or two to the other team, and then they have to chase it. And if that other team seizes that momentum, it can get really tough for Minnesota. So I think that is the key this weekend, is to play a little more conservative. And maybe, if they play just 5D for a lot of the game, maybe they play more conservative, because when you just play 5D, you're not jumping in the rush. You're staying back a little bit more. Maybe that's something that they can capitalize on. But I think this team, for them to do well, they can't give away pucks. They got to hit the net. They got to get second chances, and they got to keep an eye for Penn State, who likes to fly forwards out of the zone when there's chaos. And that's what killed them a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
When Nanny's group of defensemen were getting split down the middle time and time again with stretch passes by Penn State.
Where I'm thinking Close is going to get 35 to 45 shots. He just, I know, our guy Cappy is saying that he didn't have any over 30 save games until Friday night. Then he did with 34 saves or 34 shots, something like that. I do get a little concerned. A lot of his rebounds are juicy. On the weak side, it seems like if there's a player there, he's going to bury it in an open net. The team has done well to cover that. They'll need to really do that this weekend because there's going to be a lot of shots and there's going to be a lot of unexpected rebounds just with the way Penn State plays.
Yeah, I think Minnesota did a pretty good job of keeping the Buckeyes to the perimeter for the most part, and there weren't second chances. I think that's going to have to be the recipe again for Penn State. They will shoot from anywhere. It's going to be key for Closer to be aggressive on those shots, but also to be careful with his rebound control, with where he's putting him. He's played much better than I expected. If this was the goalie that was backing up LaFontaine all year, maybe they should have been giving him a few games here and there sooner, because he's showing what a good goalie can do when they read the game well. And that's really the most important skill of a goalie is reading the play.
All right, Viggs, here we go. We need some predictions. I think I want to say I did okay last week with the 5 because I got 6. You were picking split, but I know you had the feeling that the team really needed to prove that they could do what they did against a top quality team because honestly, it wasn't a bad thing if someone said if anyone's going to sweep last weekend, it was going to be Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
But the boys turned it on. Maybe they showed you something. Tell me about this weekend.
I kind of think with the horror stories of Happy Valley, this is a tough weekend for Minnesota to come and split. And it just, I'm worried about this one as well. Okay. It's been a tough matchup for them. You're going to see guys in spots where they're going to have to play a physical game. And that's going to be a challenge for them. I don't think aggressive play has been good for Minnesota lately. So it's going to be a real test for them. I think a split this weekend would be very good for Minnesota. And that's what I'm expecting.
I'm going to stick with my 5 points again. I'm trying to stay positive, but I'm just not. I'm kind of with you. I'm not quite there yet. I'm going to pick 5, but in all honesty, I think a split would be good because, like I said, they haven't won there in 5 seasons. And they need to do that. They need to get, even if it's teams past, it's been a house of horrors, especially those, basically, when we got 8 losses in a row. 1 was in overtime, but 8 losses in a row. It's got to change, Veeks. So I'm going to pick 5. I would be happy with a split.
I'll be really interested to see how guys like Pitlick and Lucius and Kester handle this weekend, because I think Penn State's going to target those guys a little bit with physical contact. Pitlick's had that shoulder issue early in the year. He had the collarbone break. Lucius has had some issues with bones breaking. So this is going to be a challenging series for this group.
Tim Hackey, as long as Walker doesn't pass the puck in front of the net, Close will be okay. That was a bad play.
Just kind of wonder sometimes the hockey sense there to pass the fish right in front of the net. Maybe not your most skilled defenseman in an awkward place to put the puck. Hopefully they learned from that.
Oh boy. I actually thought it was Johnson at first because I wasn't paying attention or something like that. But then when I went back on the other replay, I'm like, Walker, what are you doing?
Well, he's been told to pass the puck a little bit more, so
You
he
are.
certainly came through there with that one.
He did.
You know what? I think he's playing better. So
Yes.
let's just hope that he keeps going. Cappy said it right when he's on our show. If Minnesota does well down the stretch and Sammy plays well down the stretch, all's forgiven from my standpoint if it comes together.
1,000% correct. 1,000% correct, Beast. Wow. It's just
100%.
Okay. Whatever. You got anything else for us, Viggs, or can we get to overtime and maybe pay attention to this women's game here?
Yeah, next week there's going to be a story on GPL. So something to look for next week. I've seen the play of Pitlick this year, and I think there's a little bit of a reason why he's playing so well and why that freshman line is playing so well. And if this is a sign of the way things are going, and Bob can figure out a way to keep doing things like this, Minnesota hockey could be coming back to prominence.
Okay, I like the way you're thinking there. So be looking out for that next week, folks. I think that's all we got, V's. You don't have anything else. Go Gophers, huh?
Enjoy the weekend. This is a prove it series for Minnesota. It's going to be physical. That's not a game that Minnesota typically plays. I don't care if Penn State hasn't been very good this year. It's going to be a challenge for them. Mm-hmm. And I don't think these two programs like each other very much. And we're going to see that on the ice.
I definitely agree. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the GPL podcast. We'll be back next week where we have Todd Molesky lined up to be our guest as the Gophers close out the season with the Badgers. Well, those of you currently watching live, stay tuned for some overtime. For the rest of you, we'll catch you next week on the GPL podcast. Outstanding there, Viggs.
Worked with some wax. Easier than the last time I had to get some wax off a bottle.
I was sitting there watching. I'm like, get unmute the mic.
Come on, figure it out. Should have pre-cut the wax, but I didn't.
All right, it's all good.
The beer this week is from Portage.
Gosh, it looks like a wine bottle. Jeez.
It's a big one. Cookie Cutter. It is a pastry stout, bourbon barrel aged with vanilla beans, ginger, cinnamon, allspice, and cloves. Out of Walker, Minnesota. 10% ABV. Hopefully it will get me through the hockey game tonight.
All I can do is speculate about Dave Schwartz leaving. I honestly think that he thought he was looked over for the head sports director job. That's just my thoughts on it, not Dave's. But I honestly think he likes. He loves hockey. We've had him on the podcast. Taking a job with the Wild, maybe a little more consistent schedule that he knows about.
Because I think Dave's kids are getting older too and starting to play a little more hockey.
Yeah,
so maybe 9, a little more 10, life 11, balance.
Yeah.
So that could play into it too.
Okay, let me see this. I saw this comment earlier. With no guest this week, should have had fake Bob or fake Don on the show. I don't know who fake Bob is. I have a 99% I know who fake Don is. Maybe probably 100%. And the key with that is that person knows that people would recognize his voice. Maybe in the old days, we could have recorded a podcast and then, if we had his audio channel, modify it. But it would kind of identify the person by their voice. And I know that Fake Don has a distinctive voice. Plus, he is really busy these days. You notice he doesn't tweet as much because his kids play a ton of hockey as well. So,
Dave Schwartz?
not Dave Schwartz.
Oh, wait. Should I be getting this hockey game on my screen so I can at least see what's going on?
Canada scored.
Yeah, I heard our favorite Duluth fan run with dogs. F, it's over. I don't think it's over. This is going to be a 1-0 game.
I got to find a place to put my...
So, Jason, I've got 2 honey holes for beer. I go to 1010 Washington Wine Spirits. That was Don Hansen who asked the question about my favorite bourbon earlier. And then Stinson Wine, Beer, and Spirits, which is right like a mile from my house. I went to college with one of the 3 owners there. I actually went to high school with the guy who owns 1010. So I've got good relationships, and I don't have to drive all over. So I like those 2 stores. Stay loyal.
Yeah, that looks like they're reviewing the goal for offsides. You know, I would bring it up on a browser, but there's no way I'm taking a chance at NBC shutting down the live feed, which they would find a way. I'm sure they've got computers and all that crap on it. Ooh, that is way offside, actually.
They're very punitive, those people.
Yeah, so I've just got it up on my phone here. You can just see the replay there.
I've got my Peacock.
She's offside. I've got the Peacock on too. I mean, she is offside. That looks offside to me. So that should be disallowed. Oh. So yeah, I actually watched a video this evening about someone who's like who works at StreamYard, and who does a lot of tutorials and things like that. And that's what they told us about the starring feature, which is I think it's a cool feature we could use. There's a couple other features I would love to see. I would love to see. Let me first do this background back to that. I'd love to see audio being brought in. I mean, they do have that weird audio background music you can play. Like I can play acoustic cinematic. And it like loops and you got dance pop. This background music, I like sometimes have it on just when I'm getting ready. But I would rather have a thing where you could just play audio files.
That would be nice.
That would be
because when I get some availability stuff, like we had a Bob moment with Jess this week.
Right at the beginning?
Yeah, right at the beginning.
I think I captured.
Did you notice that one? Where Jess is like, so I know Jackson Nelson's been skating a little bit. Do you think there's a chance we might see him? He's like, do I have to repeat myself, Jess? I just said my answer. Not really wanting to say it again.
There was something right at the very beginning too, though, wasn't there?
Maybe I
let me see if I can bring it up. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Give me a second. Yeah, the goal was disallowed, so that's good. I think Deutsch had some issues recording this week.
Yeah, his phone died. So he had to get
Yeah, so I didn't catch quite everything.
Another goal for Canada? Am I ahead of you?
Yes. No, I'm watching it.
Looks like it's going to count.
I just wasn't looking.
Ryan Stanzel. No offsides there.
Oops, what did I just do? I do not want that. Okay. Sorry.
Oof. What's the USA player raising her hand for?
I'm not sure. So let me see here. Oh.
Face-off plays.
Yes.
Key.
Chrome tab. Let me see if I can get this. Here, let me.
Start with the bad news. Got to juggle your defense a little bit on Friday, huh?
Yep.
Any thoughts on that situation? I'm guessing there's probably things you want to say, but
It's really hard to figure out.
I don't know why Bob always looks over at me when Jess asks
Oh, does he?
questions. He's just giving me the eye, like, Biggs, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Really? Because I'm directly stage left there or stage right, whatever it is. So I'm like, I bet you guys have fun on those Sun Country flights.
He always looks at you like this guy.
This guy, I tell you. He knows what I'm gonna say, or what I say, or what I can't say. Right?
I'm all warm. Gotta turn on a fan here. Oh yeah, 1-0. That's not looking good, folks. That first game with Canada, US women dominated so much, couldn't finish. That first period, it was just all US. By the end of it, it was 1-0 already, Canada. And like, you've got to be kidding me. Disappointing. Let me see here. Hoping this summer this room's going to become this color, kind of a maroon color, folks. Yeah, this color, the whole house, the interior of the house is painted that way.
I've kind of got that in here.
Well, no, you flip the house, they just paint all the same color.
Yeah,
I've done my whole kitchen and dining room, but I'm thinking this room's next, folks. A nice, good maroon color. Make it darker in here.
Well, I've got a new print that's going to be up behind me one of these days. Ooh. Once I get it hung, I got
Mariucci print. Very nice. That's kind of
Broughton, Bonin. Who's the? Yeah, it's Stauber.
Nice, very nice.
So that'll be going up back there here at some point.
No, Steve, I'm not getting the official color. I'm going what I like. It doesn't have to be the official colors. Because all you have to do is go to the university website to find out the original, the actual colors. It's not hard to find, but you can't sit there and tell a place, I want the University of Minnesota color. Especially if they're not, I think Lowe's might do it, but maybe Home Depot won't, and what have you. I've been doing a couple upgrades in here. For one thing, you notice when I tap my desk, you can see my microphone shakes, but the camera doesn't shake. I've got the whole monitor is on the wall now.
So fancy.
Well, I like it because I can raise it up and I can stand at work if I need to. If I'm in a long meeting and I'm not participating much, I can stand. But they allows me to I can turn it easier. Of course,
nice.
I'm banging stuff here, but and I just lift it up. But I could lift it up pretty way up here if I need to. That's a 27-inch monitor, so it was just tough finding the studs in the wall because there's lattice behind the sheetrock. The house is so old. This wall that I'm facing, original wall, is 130 years old.
Yeah,
original wall. So it's got sheetrock and lattice, and finding the studs was next to impossible. I had to actually get a powerful little magnet to find nails in the wall because I couldn't see them. Because I had to get this within a stud. It wasn't going to
right.
Yeah, it just wasn't going to work. So I am liking this Peacock streaming, Vigs.
Yeah, it's been good. I
don't think it's very far behind either.
No, I think it's pretty good because usually people who are live or tweeting aren't ahead of the video, so that's been nice. But yes, so there's some comments on my print. Yes, it's the Fogarty salute. Yes, it's signed by the Hobie winners. Ooh. And I had a friend who their parents are moving out of their living situation, doing some long-term care, and so they weren't able to take a lot of the stuff. And they know I'm a big college hockey rube, Gopher rube, so they thought it would make a good home here. And I've got a couple Fogarty prints in my house already, so it's kind of fun to have. So
I have nothing.
So it's a nice little pickup there.
I've got my Rubes jersey.
Yeah, your Rube jersey.
And some photos I've taken. But
You got some nice custom jerseys too, Jude. So,
well, that's a custom jersey.
well, you've got some Gopher jerseys too.
I do have some Gopher jerseys, and I try to do a different one each week. So just to try to mix it up. Had Team USA. The Team USA is the one I won at the Super Rink party. Remember they had their one night where they had this little get together at their little ballroom, and I won a jersey.
Yeah, that was a fun little deal. We had the Wild game on and everything, and
Oh yeah, that's right, we did.
yeah, a lot of Golden Lights back when we were all buddies still, you know.
Well, we got a group of different people that are going to play with us in March.
I'm looking forward to that.
Rubes there, but a couple others that are not playing from the Rubes, but because they weren't part of the original gang either. So, what's the 800? The clock just 8.
The clock. People are.
Oh, the thing is, we're always going to see a delay in our stream.
Yeah.
What's live? I've got 725 right now.
I'm at 720.
3.
I'm a lot ahead of you.
720. So
yeah. That's good. We're all pretty close.
Yeah, it's a good service. I like it, and the video quality is really good.
And there's our Mount Rushmore Gopher hockey player there, Amanda Kessel, the best Kessel.
Correct.
Chrissy Wendell, probably on that.
Natalie Darwitz,
yeah. We get one more. Who would be our fourth?
Does it have to be a Minnesota person? Nora Ratu. I mean, She backstopped an undefeated season.
She basically
she
keeps
probably should have
Finland
still
involved
been
in a world stage.
After the way Finland got beat up, but she might have been able to hold off some of those goals. Men's season, we haven't played I have not painted a men's league. Has it been close to 10 years now, Viggs?
Yeah, pretty much. Like since I got married, the team fell apart.
Yeah,
I definitely wasn't the glue that was keeping it together, but
we just started losing guys, and then I just didn't want to do it anymore.
We started getting random subs, and it started to get a little awkward.
We did have Roby sub for us once.
we were getting some random people assigned to our team, and it was a little strange. So it was harder, but I think I'm gonna try to pick it up again here. A little Hockey Finder league in the spring. So that's on my agenda. I miss the men's league stuff. So,
oh man, it's gonna be that GPL skate. There, I see Jared and Keith saying, "Hey, make sure you don't take long shifts." Are you kidding me?
There's always a guy.
I want to be out there for the opening shift. I'm going to skate like 10 seconds, go to the bench.
There are always guys who just stay out there forever. It's their thing. They don't realize it. I was doing my mite scrimmage the other day, and I was doing changes every like 60 seconds. And the mites were like, "What the heck? How long are our shifts?" I was like, 60 seconds. That's what I want you to take a shift. And it's like my buddies who are coaching squirts are like, "Oh man, it gets so hard to get them to take short shifts as they get older." It's just like they feel like they can be out there forever.
Yeah, it's been over 5 years since I've played, so it's going to be interesting for me, at least.
Make sure all your stuff fits.
I had like extra large breezers and stuff.
Oh, for some reason, skates sometimes they feel like they shrink.
That's possible.
You
but-
might have to wear them in the house for an afternoon or
Oh,
something.
man, I got to get the
Bake
rust
'em.
off them first.
Yeah, get them sharpened. You know.
Yeah, I need to get the rust off them. I'm ready to get them cleaned up. Just a little, steel wool and some WD-40 just to get kind of just the rust off.
Yeah.
Clean it up, and then I'll bring them to get sharpened. I don't have the Ramsey place to bring my skates anymore to get them sharpened.
Yeah, all the rinks now they have the automated Sparks sharpeners now.
Are they any
So
good?
they're okay. I mean, I used to have when I was in high school, I went to M&L and there's this Russian guy, real Russian.
I'll
He had,
sharpen skates for you. They'd be
Yeah,
professional
he's-
type skates.
we called him Scarface because he had this
Oh,
big
geez. scar.
scar, and he's like a tough old guy. And we're like, oh yeah, gotta get him sharpened by the Russian. It's like, you want super sharp or, you like to glide? I like to glide. Okay, I'll get you the glide sharpened. Thanks, big guy.
There's actually a skate sharpening store in Eden Prairie. It's just there used to be a little sports store in this little strip mall off of 4 or Mitchell Road and 5. That closed down, but I noticed down the little mall there is something about skate sharpening. That's
There
all they
used
do.
to be by the John Rose Oval. There used to be a sharpening store. That's all they did. They had some hockey equipment stuff like tape and laces and skate guards and stuff, and they basically just sharpened skates all the time.
C. Clark, Hockey Stop and Chan.
It's a lot of my way, but maybe up your alley. There,
No, it's on my way in.
yeah,
I'm gonna write it. I got my notes right here. Hockey.
taking notes. So, do we think this Logan Cooley guy is going to commit to the U?
I don't know anything about recruits anymore.
Yeah. Oh boy,
And we don't have we don't have Hammy anymore.
we don't have Hammy.
Oh, it's 2-0. Yeah.
Nope.
I'm not. It's hard for me to look at the screen. Yeah, I didn't think this game was going to go fine.
No, Jordan. I used to go to Moose quite a bit too over at Strauss. That was one of my other places to go. Moose is a funny guy, and it was funny asking Carl Fish about Moose after he got 3rd star of the week.
Oh, you can't give up that goal. It's like a floater. Oh, jeez.
Too easy.
Pull the keeper. What the hell is that? They have 2 venues that they've been using for hockey. Kind of alternate. So it's not like there was games back to back last night. They had 4 games yesterday. They were alternating 2 different arenas. This is where I think, why can't they just keep playing in overtime? Maybe 3 out 3, 4, 4. What? Just keep playing.
It's for the player health. I think in the gold medal game,
that's BS. I mean, come on.
I think
You see all these high sticks coming up in these guys' faces.
Well, I don't know. I think in a gold medal game, they should just go until 5-on-5.
I think the medal round they should.
Yeah,
I mean, just do it that way. There's plenty.
but I get for
Yeah,
a
that's what
final
these kids
game.
are used to. And the thing is, they're hockey players. It's not like they're little mite kids that we don't want them playing forever.
Oh God, it's gonna be a tough game here.
Ooh, there they go to the box. Yep. Oh, clipped it out. Not good. I do not like the uniform. I like the U.S. uniforms. Except for
Canada ones are impossible.
what?
With the red and the black number.
Yeah.
They look cool up close, but when you're trying to read numbers and stuff, it's got to be impossible.
They are not covering well here.
So I don't know what Cooley's looking for right now, because it sounds like Mel is not going to be long for Michigan. So maybe Cooley's holding out on that.
What kind of who? Tell me about him. I honestly no idea.
He is probably the Scott Wheeler, I think, said he's the one draft pick who projects to be a number one center in the NHL in this year's draft. And he plays for the development team, and he's their most skilled forward. He's probably a top 5 pick, center, skilled, big.
So do we need to get Snuggerud on him?
I don't know what they need to do, but he would be a coup to add him to the class.
How's our defensive core looking?
Depends how many guys leave. I mean, Chesley is the talented guy they have coming in. He's a northern metro kid, Delwood area, physical guy, big shot. Maybe not having the best year right now for point scoring, but he's projected to be a top guy. And then they've got Cal Thomas, who's kind of more of a complementary defender, of that Stoddicker, Brinkman, Fish style. So those are the two guys that have coming in so far, I think. And then Middlestat, who got passed over in the draft last year, probably will go somewhere as an overager this year. So they've got those 3 coming. So good mix. But I don't know. Be interesting to see what happens if they were to lose Faber, Johnson, Lacombe. I think Lacombe needs to stay because he just doesn't have that many games at defense. So he needs 3 years. But we'll see. Denman, he'll graduate. So
Not even playing.
Right. But I heard someone say Faber is coming back unless they win a national championship. Then he might sign.
Well, a lot of ice time. He's playing pretty good in that whole tournament.
Yep. Nyes is the one I'm kind of worried about leaving. Just because he's looked so good this year, and Toronto needs left wingers. Yeah, Cooley obviously probably has Minnesota in the mix, which would be amazing. Someone on GPL has hinted at someone committing soon, and it's got to be Cooley, but I haven't heard anything.
Oh, Jared!
Fire.
At least Walker will be gone. We've said it. We'll praise him, and he has played much better lately, Viggs.
If he keeps playing the way he's playing, other than that pass to Fish.
That nice assist he had Friday night. No,
Yeah, that was
Saturday night. That was Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, he's passing the puck more, which is, he's got to do that. Luke is definitely coming. He signed his NLI. John hasn't signed his NLI yet. I thought he was going to age out a junior, but I think somehow he still could play another year. But I'm not 100% on that. And if he was to be like a walk-on type guy, he wouldn't actually sign a NLI. He would sign a financial tender. So who knows what's going on there. I'd love to have Mark Coyle on. He might do it one of these days.
Make it happen, Viggs.
I don't know if he'd do overtime, though.
And maybe only come on for a short time.
Yeah. But I could see him crack open a Summit. He's embraced St. Paul. That's what he was telling me, he's like, when I'm out and sometimes, I got to have a beer. It's like, I feel a lot of pressure about what I'm going to pick. And he's like, I usually go with a Summit EPA if I'm going to have a beer. But Coyle's kind of a Boy Scout. He doesn't drink coffee. So at the coffee with Coyle, he's drinking hot cocoa.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I think hot cocoa is delicious.
Hot cocoa is delicious.
It's good stuff, so.
He's a funny guy, though.
So we've got, so let me get rid of some of the things here. So I'm just looking at my calendar. Just give me a second here. So we've got podcast next week with Molesky. And then we've got March 2nd. We don't have anybody lined up. But, guy, that would be a Big Ten quarterfinal that weekend unless Minnesota finishes first. So we've only got, 3 more official shows scheduled. And then we just keep going as the team goes. I could see, like I said, let's say if Minnesota loses a Big Ten semifinal, we'll mix in a show in there, depending on, getting in the NCAA tournament and how all that shakes out. So
I was a little worried about them getting in the tournament until this week.
he hardly calls any games here, Jared.
Jared loves Ben Holden, though.
He does.
You're
a little biased, Jared.
Yeah, you love him for some reason. He's good. I give him that. Yep. If anyone hasn't listened to the Paul Martin On with John King and Can You Keep a Secret podcast, I think that's a good listen. So I highly recommend that one. He kind of talks about the struggles he went through and what he's doing with his foundation, and then they go off on some crazy music stuff.
Was he supposed to sign with Notre Dame?
He was committed to Notre Dame, but he decommitted.
There you go.
It's been a weird decommitment too. He hasn't been talking to media much about everything, but he's not signed.
Okay.
He maybe realized that when you play for Jeff Jackson, it's not a great spot for a young, high first-round pick.
More of a me player, are you saying?
Well, I mean, there's so much structure.
Is he less of a team player?
There's so much structure in Notre Dame. He's not going to go into Notre Dame and put up 50 points. They just don't play that style. Maybe it's good for your development if you're kind of a different kind of player, but if you're a big point scorer like that, try to think who's Notre Dame had that's been a big time scorer.
Lee wasn't a huge scorer in college. He's obviously accelerated since then.
Yeah.
But he's also a two-way player, and that's kind of what Jeff Jackson wants.
Yep. So it was kind of a weird fit to begin with. But I also think, Minnesota, if Cooley wants to come, you got to take him. But at the same time, Bob's got to balance that roster with guys who've played, 2-3 seasons of juniors. Because you see guys like Ben Myers and Rhett Pitlick, and they are ready to play. You got guys like Brodzinski who came after hardly playing at all in the USHL, McLaughlin, Walker. When those guys struggle, it really affects them. I just think they don't know how to battle through slumps and adversity because they've never had to do it. And then you're trying to do it in college. It's not very easy. We can try. We can try to get some more of these folks on.
Angel and Roby.
Is that who they're hoping for?
Probably not who they're hoping for, but they can bring the beer.
Yeah, it'd be fun to get the Polish Prince on. Kowalska or Johnny Pole. Johnny Pole might do it. He's a fun interview.
I kind of wonder if he would cut open a vein.
He definitely would in overtime.
Cut open a vein for, what's been happening in the crowds and what have you.
Well, when I interviewed him for one of my athletic articles, he really cut open a vein and talked about it. We had a long off the record chat about the perspective of things. And it's just different right now.
But is it guys like that who need to speak up?
I don't know if it helps though. Does it help with them speaking up? Are we going to go down the rabbit hole of attendance here, Jude?
No. Or someone like a Wheeler. What if they were to speak up? A captain in the National Hockey League. Still, he was setting up Scheifele quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, he had a good game. I think those players, if they were to speak up and actually try to help the team, they would be like, invest in your program. King even said this on his podcast with Paul Martin. He's like, are you either a hater or is this the team you support? Because if you say you're a fan and you support Gopher hockey,
Where the hell are you?
where are you? Just show
Are
up.
you a fan
Take
of the WCHA?
Or do you just want to be that cool kid who says, Big Ten sucks? Is that what you want to do? Or do you want your team to be successful? I mean, I got into a thread about this on one of the GPL. I think it was on like the local broadcast thread. I was like, there are people who have tickets between the blue line and they view that as their donation to the U. And when they play a big game, they want to use their seats, but otherwise they don't care, and the U isn't going to turn away their money, especially when their season ticket base is now at like 4,200. They're not going to say, no, we're going to take
Those
your
Michigan
seats
State
back.
games, there was like 7,983. It was 8,000 essentially sold tickets.
Yeah.
We don't have. I never get. You get the scan numbers. Sometimes,
Sometimes they slip.
Well, one of our contacts,
One of our insiders
looks it up on his phone and says so and so. That's what we're drinking after the game. But you look, when they say attendance 8,300, that's how many tickets they sold. I mean, there's some distribution things, but essentially that's what the tickets they sold.
But not a lot. I mean, we talked to Shearhorn, and he's like, "Yeah, they're not giving us tickets. We gotta buy them and show up. The U is not the Arizona Coyotes."
What the hell?
I was looking back at Russo had gotten into his beef with Anson Carter, and I was looking for like what Russo had written about Anson Carter in the past because Russo mentioned it and he couldn't find it. And I was like digging through it. And I found one story where he was referencing actual tickets sold for every team. Some owner leaked that to the media. And so you could see what teams were actually selling versus how many tickets they were giving away. And some of the teams only sell 5,000 or 6,000 tickets. And their announced attendance is like 15,000. So they're giving away like 9,000 seats a game to like sponsors, community organizations, things like that, just to make it look like there's interest in their building.
Vegas.
I remember
Vegas. How many free comps are going in Vegas?
I feel like those people are buying them from the Knights. I don't think they have an attendance problem there. And
They're bought, but I'm guessing the people attending are not the ones that bought them a lot.
Right. I'm sure that's there. But like there's this promotion in like Florida. Like if you bought a bottle of vodka, you get free tickets to the Panthers games. It's like a $20 bottle of vodka and you got 2 free tickets. Sign me up. I was like, all right, they're having a hard time giving away tickets.
So interesting, we finally heard this week that that final Wisconsin game is going to be on the Big Ten Network, 7 p.m. game. That's nice.
Best TV package in the country.
By far. People bitch. Fuck off. I don't care anymore. Show up to the game, folks. Get some tickets. I mean, if the Gophers could be in the lead of the Big Ten this weekend, if all goes well, they could clinch that Saturday night against Wisconsin.
Yeah, they could win the conference. They could get a number 1 seed basically locked up that weekend. And it's the old rival, Wisconsin.
It's Wisconsin.
That's been the game that actually has done really well selling tickets for the last 20 years. That's always a good crowd. Yes. The Wisconsin fans still actually kind of travel.
Wisconsin sucks. Get there and yell at. Maybe we can kick
Trader Mo night.
Yeah,
Trader Mo night.
Trader Mo. Do whatever you got to do, folks. Just get there. Oh, there. Oh, they're showing. Oh, she hit the pipe. I was just looking to replay.
They're showing the highlights. Yeah, is that Hannah Brandt who just kind of whiffed on the empty net there chance?
Yeah. These are not. This is a bad turnover here.
That's a bad goal.
I mean, you got to get that puck out of the zone. It's a bad goal, but it was just a bad turnover. And that's the one thing I'm not a X's and O's guys, but I really noticed that with the men's team. When a team got control in their zone, they struggled. Once they got the puck, they're okay, but a lot of times just getting the puck was tough.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think part of that's being smaller. That pro game is so physical, and so those guys know how to protect the puck better. Like you watch a college game, Nyes, Myers, Faber can take away the puck from just about any college player. Like they have that physical skill to do that. That's not a common skill in college hockey, to end out plays like that. And that's why I think those guys all project.
Corey, there's a new trophy every year. Playoff and regular season.
There's a bunch of them in the coach's office.
Yep.
On
4
campus
in a row. So there's a new, it's not like a traveling trophy. There's a new one each year. So they start collecting them. So sorry. Wisconsin gets to keep their little regular season trophy. Oh boy. They make it 3-0. That's all she wrote here. I just don't see this team coming back against the Canadians.
Maybe they'll get some power play time.
Gotta convert. The men certainly couldn't.
Well, they've got that residency thing, so maybe they have that power play figured out a little bit better. What is with the standings? Can you talk about this, Jupe? Are you the expert on why the standings everywhere are just gone to hell this year?
Well, the Big Ten site has been wrong all season.
All the time.
I believe they might still have Michigan State at 15 points. They've had them there for a while. Look, can you go to that site and look it up?
It's just baffling that they're this many. I know college hockey stats.net was awesome, but
college hockey stats is gone. Yeah, obviously.
That's the big reason why everything went to hell.
Oh, Steve says MSU's still at 15. I'll bring up my own site here in one of the windows. One thing I've done, Vigs, is that I have
15 points. I'm 15.
Smaller.
Let me go over here to GPL, the standard.
Well, I don't know if it's the standard. Oh, you like the dark scheme, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm dark with everything. I wish StreamYard had a dark blackout. Yeah, tell that to them.
That's actually one of the things requested. There's something they're thinking about looking at.
There we go. 14 points.
Sorry. I have 14 points. Okay, now, can you zoom in just a little bit there?
I sure can.
So one thing, folks, I do not give a rat's ass about anything other than the league standings. A lot of these standings, like the Big Ten, they try to put in total games, and I think they're thinking more along the lines of, because you have the win-loss tie there. Look, what does it say for? See, they're putting it. Scroll all the way to see Michigan State. What does it say for Michigan State to see how they're getting?
They're 5-15-0.
But
they're not.
Look back at GPL.
They
have 4 regulation wins, a shootout or overtime win, which is 2 points.
Yep.
And I only care about points. Did you get 3 points? Did you get 2 points, 1 point, or 0 points? That's all I care about.
Yep.
So I've got the 2 wins and the 2 losses. Obviously, one of the losses is an overtime shootout loss. That's all I care about, and that's all I think about.
I don't think about games left.
Yeah, that too.
Rather than games played. Feedback's a gift. Jupe. Feedback's a gift.
But go back to that Big Ten. Actually, go back to Big Ten there. How are you supposed to figure out how they're doing points?
I bet they're just doing something off of this.
So Michigan State doesn't have a shootout or overtime win,
But they do.
but they do. So
Yeah.
it's just clearly wrong.
It's wrong. Because they have an overtime win, not a
what's-
shootout win.
Wait, Wisconsin with 18? I thought they had 20. I show Wisconsin with 20 points.
Yep. Another mistake.
But is that me or them? I think it's them.
I'm pretty sure it's them.
Because if I make a mistake, Nate is on me instantly, and because I do it all manually. I don't let.
Yeah, because you got 15, 17, 20.
So
Hit me for the blackjack.
See, that's the problem, Steve. They didn't know how a game ended. So yeah, let's go to CHN. 14 points for Michigan State. I mean, they've got the same points I do, which is all I really care about. What are the points? There's the overtime win. That one overtime win. So the Big Ten organization, Big Ten Hockey State, has messed up Michigan State. And then throughout the season, we've seen Notre Dame's wrong. Wisconsin's been wrong.
I mean, how crazy is Notre Dame's season? They've got 5 overtime wins, which
Yes.
for pairwise are terrible. Yeah, CHN is a little tough to look at with all that stuff going on, but
You see that, and that's the one thing I don't care about overall records, overall games played. For me, it's strictly conference and the standings.
then of course the pairwise, which is really close for these teams here, like 57-25 to 58-67.
Yeah, but unless if Western or Western and Denver play this weekend, that could be a split, a sweep. I don't think there's going to be much movement there.
I hope that Western falls into this 2-seed territory. So we can have them in Michigan.
You are correct, sir.
I want Western Michigan and Michigan the first round. I mean, I like the CHN for pairwise because of the customized tool. I'm gonna share my screen again.
Go for it.
Because I just think this tool is really cool because you can go in here and you can go Minnesota and you can change their results for games, or you can predict what happens, like if they just fall flat on their face, how bad would it look for them, agnostic of everything else. They even if they lose all their games, they go to 11. Not bad.
Those Ohio State games were gigantic.
Huge.
And
Yeah.
coupled with other teams, who would have seen the Quinnipiac getting a loss in there, and
Right.
Western had a lot. There was just a lot of other things that happened. I mean, you can't sit there and you could sit here until you're, blue in the face, Vigs, and change every little outcome of this weekend or not last weekend. And you're just saying if things hold straight, is all you were doing.
Mhm.
I mean, you couldn't have predicted. You said the highest is 6th. Well, that's just with normal results and Minnesota sweeping. You're not going to take into account, like you said, Quinnipiac and other things. So
Yeah. I'm surprised that it's only puts Minnesota 4. If you take that Alaska game and you change it from a loss to a win, they only go up 1. I think that just shows you that Michigan, Minnesota State, and Denver right now are pretty secure with number 1 seeds. It's hard to get above them.
Steve A. lesson learned. Ignore the Big Ten site right now until they can show they can do it accurately. You are correct, Steve.
Mm-hmm. All right, back on second period.
I just try to pay attention as much as I can, and a lot of times I forget to update a field. And Nate is on me. Oh, you forgot to add another game, or
Nate's pretty sharp on reminding you when you
Jeez.
screw up,
and that's just fine because, like I said, it's just me.
Yep.
And a lot of times I'm just not tired.
Yeah, if I ever make a mistake in something I post, like I did when I said Minnesota was 6 in the pairwise when they're 5, just point it out to me. I'm tired. I've got a 7 and 9-year-old. You know, I burned the midnight oil last night watching the hockey game and then maybe having a bourbon or two afterwards.
It was hard to go to sleep at 1 a.m. last night.
Yeah.
I still toss and turn. I just had, the mind was going. It's, you kind of get the adrenaline going too, especially in that 3-on-3. Whew. No, I get it, Steve.
So the verdict on
attention on Twitter, we've kind of had this. Even Chris Long a couple weeks ago was like, "What are the standings?" Like, don't go to the league site because it's bad and it's wrong.
Verdict on cookie cutter, okay, not a must get. So
too much cookie cutter, not special cookie.
It's pretty sweet. It's interesting. It kind of reminds me of like a Braxis for any of our beer snobs out there. Braxis is pretty good. I feel like a Braxis is a little spicier, and this is trying to get there, I think. But maybe too much vanilla, and could do more of the ginger, cinnamon, allspice, cloves. And then the barrel doesn't have a lot of barrel character. I'm not getting a lot of bourbon-y stuff.
Not getting any wood flavor or pulp.
Yeah, I had Bourbon County Rare because obviously GPL funds my beer drinking. I mean, solely. I mean, that's where it goes.
That's where Jerry does. With all his sponsors.
Helps pay for the beer of the week. That actually had little bits of barrel in the bottle. That Bourbon County Rare. Yeah, it was a little interesting.
Filter it?
Huh?
You have to filter it?
Apparently that one you did. They usually kind of put it through a strainer.
Okay, 3-on-2. Do something here. Not a long pass across defenseman. Jesus.
Fire, fire, fire.
Jeez. College hockey stats was just one guy, you slacker. Actually, it was one guy doing all the programming, but he had all the programming linked into all of this stuff together to pull the data in automatically.
Because all the schools cooperated with him.
Yeah.
And now there's this new group that's tried to take it over, and they just aren't as invested as that guy was.
You can only do things for so long. I mean
the GPL podcaster. We'll keep doing this for a while.
Someone was commenting that they were ripping on the USCHO site, and I'm like, I'm like, I kind of came back to him like, do you have any idea how large that site is? And on the technical side, it's one guy who does.
That's just Tim, right?
It's just Tim who does all the technical stuff on the back end on his own, and he'll be sitting next to me or you at the games. Yeah, Mariucci's been showing up this year, and he sits there and monitors his site to see how the servers are handling everything.
I laugh because I feel like he's just like there. He's like, well, I'm going to be on my computer anyway. Yeah, I just want to hang out while I do all this.
Yeah,
because otherwise I'd just be doing it at home.
I had to watch the game, but he monitors his site right there. Yeah. Or he's doing some little code things and back end stuff. I mean, the site is gigantic. People don't realize that there's like multiple servers running everything. So it's, people rip on it, and I'm like, stop.
I wish. Was there something with his site not being secure for a while, or did they fix that? Didn't have the HTTPS.
I'm not sure on that. I know they weren't mobile for a long time.
Yeah. Maybe he's finally got that updated, but for a while it wasn't.
I hope so.
I think it's updated now, but it wasn't for a while. And Chrome, of course, was not letting that happen. And yes,
that was the problem with the college hockey stat site. It wasn't secure at all.
Yeah. And Corey, I was very frustrated to lose the line charts because that was one of the things. You go to College Hockey Inc., you could always find line charts for every game on there because of the collegehockey.stats.net stuff. Now it's like hard to figure that out, especially like when I'm looking at how Minnesota is going to play Penn State. Now I got to go to a Twitter feed and hope they post lines. And
one thing the scoreboard on GPL used to be an iframe to a page on college hockey stats.
mm-hmm.
But once I moved to a secure site 3 or 4 years ago, you can't iframe to an unsecure site if your site's secure. So I couldn't use it more. I use College Hockey News now. They have these little widgets that they have. And the thing is, people say it's not accurate. Well, the thing is, a lot of the sites aren't accurate and updated this year because this whole system for everybody is new. And it's just been a complete cluster. They're linking in like they did before. It's just a new system. And it's just that the system's not updated. So their stats aren't updated. So their scores aren't updated. Literally, if they want it, they have to go in and manually do it. And a huge site like USHOCHN, that's a lot of updating, folks. They rely on these database and automatic connections to this whole system. And when it doesn't work, it sucks.
By the way, Tim, Lassie Alanen gets their stuff from Instat. So it's a site that basically gets all the video from every game and starts tagging it. I don't know exactly how accurate that is or who's doing the tagging, but I know Chris Peters gets that info too. So when he's doing his Hockey Sense stuff and now he's doing his daily face-off work, he's using the Instat stuff too. So
I do wish the Olympics had a stat site that was decent. They've got basically nothing. They got a little play-by-play, but they don't have hardly anything. And as media, we get access to the University of Minnesota as stuff that the live stats, which updates pretty quickly, and you'll see I'll tweet during the game like screenshots after the period showing the scores and the shots. It's just the basic stuff, but I love that feed. A couple feeds have passwords, a couple feeds don't.
Yeah.
It's not something we're going to share with you folks. Sorry. They say don't share it. We
don't share. Sorry.
It's a nice site. And, I know Chris Long does the same thing. He'll do screenshots of all kinds of sports from that same media stat server. I like it. It's worked for quite a few years now, and it's really nice. And all the Big Ten teams use the same system. So. I'm kind of curious how they do some of the play-by-play stuff, though. Is someone typing that in up there?
Well, they're doing shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts.
Okay. I was always kind of curious because it's almost like someone's typing. I don't know if they're taking it off of voice or maybe they're taking it off of voice.
I don't think they're doing it off voice. I think someone's doing data entry during the game. And that's why the Instat stuff is like, yeah, I'm sure it's okay. Just like the Pro Football Focus stuff, like I'm sure it's okay, but there's a lot of judgment calls on all that stuff. Like I know the hockey staff kind of keeps their own stats separate from what the public stats are. Mm-hmm. It's like how they do, like even their power play percentage and scoring chances and stuff like that. Like chances created, they've got their own. Jeez. Tough night for the U.S. women.
So, let me see here. I can kind of show people what we see. Oh, this one. When we do this, let me see. Make sure.
And there's no time on ice data available to the media, although I've seen it.
Yes,
they do keep it.
Yes, but this is what we see when we log. A lot of times, I'm using more of the summary tab. That's just giving you the basics: scoring summary, penalties. You can see all these penalties from the game the other night. This is obviously when it was an away game. It's branded Ohio State, but everything else here is the same. And like I said, there's a play-by-play tab. Pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
Shot by Rossini. Sam missed. Stave Snowden. I've never really paid attention to that stuff. Let's see the notes. Oh, yeah, what was that? Play-by-play.
Do they have the face-off stuff in here too?
They do. It's under the summary. It's under summary. Here we go. Shot saves. Face-offs right here.
Yeah, they're starting to do this weird thing where they show face-off percentage by position on the ice. So you can see offensive zone draws, how a team is doing, defensive zone draws, special team draws.
Not a bad audience.
But I don't think it's in this one.
Not a bad attendance at Ohio State.
Yeah, that's good. They really promoted the hell out of that game. They had their players out giving away tickets and stuff.
Oh, there's a
dark mode. Yeah.
I didn't realize it. There's a dark mode. Because a lot of times during the game, I'll have this summary up, but I make it skinny, so it kind of goes into a mobile view here.
Yep.
And then I take a screenshot of something like this and put online. And then I could keep it skinnier and just kind of quickly see, the overall sets. But I like to say it's basic. Like I said, I wish we had the little more face-off information. At the U, you'll get that at the end of the game, but you're not going to get that during the game.
This made me laugh.
Hold on a second. I'm not on the screen.
It's funny.
Oh, that's
true.
Probably tickets sold. That's always the tickets sold.
Yeah, we have to request scan data.
Looks like CNN. People are watching GPL from Connecticut. I'm not sure what he means there.
I don't know. We got people from Indonesia, the Philippines.
Maybe.
I always like the GPL report on IPs that come to the site.
Well, sometimes it's interesting stuff. Like I said, we had people from the Philippines and catching a lot of bots too. But looks like, let's see the game. Okay, yeah, it might be the same game tracker, but that's what we use. I like it. I try to have it up for every game. When I'm on if I'm not shooting the game, but even when I might shoot a period or two at Mariucci, if I'm up in the press box for the period, I usually have the stats up as most as I can. 3-0, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, not pretty.
Have they really had any decent chances? They had a pipe earlier, didn't they? But
well, yeah, they had a couple chances, but
was it Wisconsin goalie versus Wisconsin goalie too? I know Todd was talking about something like that. It's not looking good here, folks.
I don't know if we're going to make it to a third period.
No. I think I might be going to bed a little early.
Unless they come through on this power play.
Just to tease us?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. You think as far as attendance goes, this is the new norm, or do you think it will go back to full arena someday? All I know is Wisconsin's got the same issue because Todd does a opening face-off photo every night now when it's a home game, and it looks just as ugly. So, some new names in the chat here tonight, Viggs.
Yeah, that's good.
It's
good to see.
People. It's nice to have you guys aboard. Nice to have you aboard.
I was just trying to help out Corey V's question on the assistant salary. I was just pulling up my coaching contract information.
Did you just ice it on a power play? Come on.
Got all my coaching contract files over here. Got a lot of contract data on my stuff. 135 for Garrett is what he was last signed to. Let's see, what was Danton Cole's contract paying him?
Hate to hear what the audio is saying in this game. Glad I'm not listening to it.
There's Ellen
Dear
Armentrout.
Mr. Vigo.
Yep. Very similar verbiage to the University of Minnesota's contracts. He's making $300,000 a year.
Who is now?
Danton Cole. Do I have? Did I get Michigan's?
The Mel.
I don't think I got Mel's contract, but I had Red, also known as Gordon.
Gordon. Jeez, you took out the goalie.
Tough game. Yeah, he was only making $225.
Chicken feed.
Yeah.
What do you ever find out like bonuses and stuff? Obviously, we know like
Yeah. I mean,
she had like huge like retirement type of stuff. Like it was like $400K a year in retirement funds or something.
well, he deferred compensation. So Bob did that with his deal. He started making less in base salary, more in deferred. It's just for tax stuff. Yeah.
They just put that money in an account somewhere and they just wait to pay him, or
Well, it just goes into like a 401k type deal. Faculty retirement plan.
gotcha.
Like when Bob first signed, I don't think his agent really figured that out. But then he, like the next year, he redid his deal. So most of it came in deferred compensation. So now he gets, half of his salary or a third of his salary in this deferred compensation account. The 415M plan. So he makes, $650,000 and a third of that goes in that retirement account. Be nice, right?
That's rough.
I am kind of surprised though that the assistants in college hockey make, around that 100,000 mark, because that's a hard job. I mean, it's kind of glamorous and whatnot for things, but
And the thing is, the staff now is young, kind of their first kind of run at it. What was Gensel?
I mean, I feel like he was making 160.
Yeah, but was he wasn't was he the associate head coach towards the end there? Kind of a slightly tweaked, slightly different title
Yeah, I actually have his contract.
than assistant.
He was making 151, 795. He negotiated that extra $795. But he got really mad at me because I published his contract data. When he got when Don left, and he was really pissed about it.
It's public information.
Public data. Like he sent me a text like being upset with me, and then I sent him like, "Hey, public job, public data. Sorry, thought a lot of you as a coach. Never heard back ever."
Burned bridge there, Viggs.
Yeah, he's got a massive chip on his shoulder. Like if you follow his Twitter activity, he likes a lot of tweets about Pittsburgh Penguin hockey, criticizing and complimenting his son.
I don't even know if I'm following him anymore. Maybe I was blocked.
Yeah. Well, my tweet deck, I can follow likes of people that I'm interested in. And this current Gopher hockey staff is not very active on social media. I think that's a Bob thing. He hates social media. That's like why they don't announce their NLIs. They don't have a big thing about their recruiting class.
Well, I'm following him.
He doesn't tweet a lot, but he likes
he
a
doesn't
lot of
feel
stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because
He's an active
I
liker.
tend to not use I have TweetDeck. I just haven't used much of it.
If you want to be entertained by oddities in social media behavior, check out Mel Pearson.
Really,
look at Mel Pearson's likes.
Yeah, so and Gensel does have his account locked down now too.
Well, he hasn't blocked me yet.
No, he hasn't blocked me either. So, but I don't.
So things obviously aren't that bad.
And maybe he hasn't even thought about it either.
Could be.
I mean, he's got 2,568 followers. He's following 225. So I am not one of the people he's following. So of course, why would he care? But I wonder, would it show if he's following Hammy?
They're texting. They're texting buddies.
Oh.
I think I think I've got Gensel on followers. Maybe I'm approaching that 3,000 mark.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're a big deal.
Massive deal.
He's following Bertogliat. Bertogliat on GPL. I notice he's following him.
Man of the people.
Sarah Sivian skipped out on us.
Always will hold it against her. Just like Russo will always be upset with TNT, I will always have a grudge against Sarah.
Let me see what else he's got. I'm just kind of reading through his The Beauty League. What is he doing these days?
Gensel?
Yeah.
He's scouting for Arizona.
Okay.
So I think he's like their advanced scout. So he'll go throughout like the Western Conference and scout teams and like try to figure out what's changing with their systems and special teams and line matchups.
He follows Go for Hockey Stats.
Well, of course, they're buddies.
And then I'm starting to get more into the old players that he was coaching. Follows Big Ten hockey now.
Not going to get a lot of information from that Twitter account.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Did they just score again?
No, I thought that was another goal coming.
It
It was like a 3-on-1, and the defender dove down the ice and swallowed the puck.
Let's go to the bottom here. Does he still follow Go for Hockey?
Might not. He's kind of spiteful that way.
Let's go all the way bottom. I didn't see it. Doogie. Oh, there's Hammy. He does follow Hammy. They talk and text more than people know. Try to find whose salary. We had Gensel's salary. About was it 151? You said earlier.
151.
Yeah. If that's what you mean, there. Bomb. I'm not going to bomb.
Or are we looking for somebody else's salary? I might have it. I've got a lot of contracts. I don't have it all. Every 4 or 5 years, I try to.
There they go.
Hey, hockey game.
Shorty?
Knight, Hillary Knight, Shorty. There we go.
I just hate all this. I hate all the French Canadians these days. Debian.
Knight's such an awesome player.
Eric Vigo salary.
It's out there. You can look it up, Corey. U of M salaries are public. That's how I afford my Macallan Rare. Actually, not really. My wife does a little bit better than I do.
Know that. Nothing wrong with that.
My wife is the best. No, Hillary Knight. Yeah. Nice.
The way they're
Closer.
playing, it was surprising to get a shorty there. Now, don't give up one right back here. Jeez.
I mean, Jupe's payments to me are pretty transparent on the donation thread. We keep open books.
Then whatever Jerry pays us, we split it 50-50.
And then once this pandemic's over, I'm gonna start taking our guests out for beers, or in Todd's case, Punch Pizza.
I like Punch.
I love Punch.
I like the Maximus. That's a good pizza.
They shut down the one on campus for a little bit.
I did?
I don't know if it's open yet again, but
Eden Prairie is the one I would go to a lot of times for lunch. Right there, not in Eden Prairie Center, but near Eden Prairie Center. I have to go check it out. I've been kind of craving it lately.
yeah, I make pizza every Friday night at home.
I see it on your Instagram a lot. You're pretty much a food guy on Instagram. And you got some other stuff, but Instagram's really a lot of food stuff for you.
A lot of food stuff for me on Instagram. Instagram is more my personal. If you want to peek in the lifestyle of Eric Vigo, Instagram is where I do that. It's not really a Gopher hockey focused feed.
Same with mine.
I try to keep Twitter Gopher hockey. I try to avoid doing the Jess Myers and calling out customer service on my Twitter feed.
I don't. It worked for me. But I'll use GPL for that. Just because it has so many followers.
Yeah.
The companies tend to listen.
I tend to get a good response just using regular channels.
FTD didn't get my flower.
I saw that. Yeah. I try not to.
They got delivered the next day at about lunchtime. Completely refunded my money.
That's great.
So I was happy with that result.
Yeah, I had to go at Bucci for my chicken parm. I had to get some feedback. I take my cooking very seriously. Yeah, and you go after Wendy's, Jupe?
It's been so long. I haven't had a Wendy's in a long time. A long time. It's because I don't go to work anymore. I'm at home.
I do kind of miss the office culture stuff. I don't know.
I do.
I'm not meant to be cooped up all the time.
Oh, it's just not even sending a damn Facebook message.
I feel like my chicken parm and my cooking is pretty good, though. If you follow me on Instagram, I feel like I cook pretty well.
Wendy's gave me nothing free. But it somehow got on like a top 10 list of when Wendy's trolled users.
Yeah.
Or when companies trolled users via Twitter, it made a top 10 list. And sorry, GoRag, we'll try, we'll get it right next time or something like when they did the GoRag thing.
Yeah, that was good.
They embraced it. I thought it was good. So,
man, 3-1.
I haven't been in. Before I lost my job, we started going back into the office in May of last year. I was there 2 weeks before they decided to eliminate my position. So I don't know. And then, of course, I don't feel so bad because the leadership killed that whole advertising thing and it's dead now. So
yeah, you're pretty happy about that.
I am pretty happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy where I am. So
I'm not above it. Man, 3-1. Am I invested now? Do I have to watch the third period?
Oh, boy.
Now that it's 3-1?
It'd be nice if they got another one here real late.
Knights on the ice. Get her the puck.
Kind of disappointed Kessel hasn't done a little more.
Yeah.
But, I still think she hasn't been the same since her concussions when she was out, over a year or something like that. That's it. Come on, Hannah. You can do better.
Did she just say that's bullshit?
Like
not be
Nice
able
the other
to-
night dropping an F-bomb last night.
Yeah. Are we doing this? Are we watching the third period? I have to take a bio break and I have to get a bourbon. If that's what we're doing.
Go get it, man.
All right.
Go get it. I took a nap earlier in anticipation.
Smart. All
All
right, here we go. Be back in a minute.
all good. Oh, she but a nameplate would say. Oh, ooh, V's even hit himself. We'll go full screen here. If I could figure it out. There we go. You know, I would love to put the game over in the corner here off to the side or something like that, but I just have a feeling that NBC has bots looking for that kind of stuff on YouTube. You get to sleep nice. You didn't stay up for the U.S. game last night, Steve? What the hell's wrong with you? Gosh, I didn't get to bed till like 1 and couldn't get to sleep very well. Not the greatest. Yeah, I think they would be. Even if I didn't have sound. I mean, they probably got just video. They will come for you. I don't need that. I'd like to keep this YouTube channel clear of issues. I mean, I had enough. I mean, just what I played some music about a month ago. What did I play music for? I'm trying to remember. I played some music at the beginning of overtime, and YouTube. As soon as the broadcast ended, YouTube flagged it and took it down. So you couldn't see the live broadcast anymore. I should look for one. I can't remember which one it was. Let me check my YouTube channel here. It's kind of weak. You couldn't stay up, Steve. Okay, that was a live broadcast. Let me see if I can find that here. Something was flagged for a song I played, and I can't remember the name of the song. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2. I know it was something. I can't remember what I got flagged for. Well, look at that. Barb, you're coming up strong. Vig's birthday, I got busted because I played some kind of birthday song. What was it, Barbie? What was the birthday song I played? I played a song, and just playing that song got copyright warning. Oh, now she's texting me. What was it? Oh, she's texting me the same thing. Yeah, I already got you on the broadcast. That goofy picture of her and I. You should have, Steve. I can't believe you didn't stay up for the game last night, Steve. What the hell? I was so pissed about that. Yeah, they could have done better, but well, there's Vig's back again. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Vigo's birthday got busted? What?
Oh, well,
the
copyright. What song did I play?
Hey, it's your birthday. Beatles.
Yes.
Beatles is going to get you every time.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, as soon as we press stop on the live broadcast, it was flagged by YouTube, and they're like, fuck off. Restriction. And that's kind of the reason why I got rid of the hold on, I'm just going to get my thought out here, Vigs. That's why I stopped using the song I purchased for the opening and closing. Even though I had legal rights to it, YouTube was flagging it every week. And I'm like, I'm sick of this. So okay, let's go on to the what is it?
This is Jack Daniels single barrel proof. This is comes with this little keychain deal.
Jeez, aren't you fancy?
Specially selected by Minnesota Whiskey Elite. I'm Whiskey Elite, apparently.
So what's your setup? Are you just on a laptop there, Viggs?
Just on a laptop today.
Okay. And other times you've used your iPhone.
I've tried. The camera's much better, but I can't get my Yeti mic to work with it, even though I've got all the stuff.
Got to be so. Yeah, you use some kind of dongle or something like that to do that.
Yeah, I've got a dongle.
So it's got.
So it should work, but it doesn't work with StreamYard for some reason. Or something set up wrong. But yeah, it's really good.
That's oh boy. I don't have anything fancy like that.
Proof doesn't come across very well on the screen, but 131.5 proof.
I must say I am liking. I literally bought software 20 minutes before the show that allows. Oh, there it goes. That allows me to remember. I kept having the focus issues. It kept Well, now I can go in and make all sorts of changes. But just it was like $7.99. I'm like, I'll just pay for it. It's so easy when it's just you can just buy it and you never see it, But I could do stupid things like, hey, if I want to change the contrast of like really bad here, I can do it. I can, brightness up way up high or way down low. Sharpness. I can make myself damn blurry if I want to. By changing.
I did get one of those ring lights, which I think helps.
You used to be able to see it more. It was a little brighter. You must have put it a little further away.
Well, I kind of angle it off a little bit.
Okay.
Rather than looking straight into it. If I look straight into it, it gets kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know.
But let me see here. So this is the default. It just changed it, but you're not going to... It's just mostly... I mostly got it to turn off autofocus. Because when I do this, it'll want to focus behind me. And then I'm fuzzy and I'm like, screw that. Go to this setting, keep it deep focus all the time. So I'm happy with the software already. So that's good. For me, ooh, nice. Let's see here. Okay, I can stop this now for real quick. Shoot. Because I don't care so much right now. What are all these texts from? Oh, it's the girlfriend.
She had to jump in the chat to just get your attention.
Kind of. And then I was 4 texts. What can you do?
Yeah, these Jack Daniels. One of my favorite bottles from last year is this one.
Nice.
I got 2 of them. So I went through the first one early. Decided to open it tonight. It's like bourbon candy, Jupe.
Really?
It's like candied vanilla, caramel. Be a little bit of heat, but it's so oily and viscous that none of it's in the esophagus. I don't know. When I was in college, Jack Daniels was kind of my vice of beverage. A lot of grain belt premium. Always a winner. Returnables. Had to get returnables.
Really? So I was going to show you my setup here.
Whoa, echo.
Sorry, I just got to... Well, that sucks.
We're going to lose our 28 listeners if you keep that up.
Let's see if I can add myself to the stream. There we go. So I've just got a light here and a light over here to light me. And there's the setup. Just software. You got Neil right there. Hi, Neil.
Oh, look at that. You've got stuff.
I've got one thing.
You're just like, oh, I don't have any stuff. You got stuff.
I got one thing. And like I said, this room is tiny. I got some Gopher stuff over here. Some pictures I've taken. And it's, like I said, it's a tiny room. You can see what's behind me here, obviously. Bunch of credentials on the wall.
You got a media guide last week.
You did?
Uh-huh.
God, I've got one down here somewhere. It's from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we got
obviously, we got some
an updated one.
Now there's me and the Wooker, some pucks, kids stuff, books. Nothing fancy.
It's a good setup, though.
Yeah, it's. I like it because it's a small room. Okay, then we got to go back to Peacock here and bring that back up. They haven't started yet, have they?
No, not yet. Yeah, Sean was asking about bracketology. I don't think USCHO has done one yet this year, have they?
Is that Moy who does the big majority of it?
Yeah, but he hasn't even
around?
done one yet. So I don't know. He hasn't done a bracketology yet this year. Usually they start doing them, last week of January they start. They haven't yet. Woden did one for College Hockey News this week, but it's not as good as Moy's usually. I just think there's so much up in the air about how the rest of the year is going to go with who's going to make the tournament. And then now that they've kind of done away with like the East, West, Midwest. What was the other one? East, West, Midwest.
Yeah, the direction. Yeah, Midwest,
West, Northeast,
North,
something.
Or East and Northeast. Yeah,
East and Northeast. Now they've kind of done away with that. It's going to be tricky. I just wish they would do home campus sites.
Yeah, I
first
know.
round.
I'm looking at Moy's Twitter account. It's like his Twitter account is Moy loves food.
It's kind of like my Instagram account.
It's nothing but food.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Does he have that? That's him. No, I don't. Maybe he's. I was gonna see if he's got another account. He might, but I see him in the picture. Moy loves J Moy loves food. So I don't know. Maybe he's got other accounts.
Maybe. But like College Hockey News in Woden, he did kind of a cop-out bracketology. He didn't like really do it. He just kind of wrote about it and who are the 1 seeds and 2 seeds. And then he just said first round matchups. He didn't even do regions. Kind of a half-assed attempt there, Woden, if you're listening. If you're one of our 23, still with us. But Hockey East is bad this year. Like
BU keeps moving up, though. They're slowly moving up.
Well, when you play bad teams, someone's got to win.
True, but like we've seen with teams, though, I mean, even if you're playing bad teams, if you just keep winning and keep winning and keep winning, it eventually helps you. Here, game here and there, not so bad. But if you're, what are they, 15-1 or something along those lines in the last couple months?
Yeah.
And they did win the Bean Pot, so that's like the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get over 20 wins, you're in okay shape, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting close to that. If they do well down the stretch. I think one of the things with like Notre Dame, it's like they're at 13, but like a bunch of their wins are in overtime. So it's kind of like a fake record. I almost feel like for some of these pairwise sites, they need to like differentiate the 55% wins versus the 45% wins, and not
or 45% losses,
right?
Yeah,
and not call them wins and losses because it's very deceiving when you look at the win-loss records. Minnesota, their weighted win percentage is kind of low because they've done so well at home. They haven't played a lot of teams on the road this year for whatever reason.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just checking out the.
Here we go, third period.
Sorry, I'm just messing with my microphone here. Score soon, otherwise we're shutting her down.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is when I looked at broadcasts, yeah, obviously we were long last week.
Yeah, we went after it last week. My wife was like, "How late were you guys up?"
253 total. King was 249.
Ooh.
Long 239. I mean,
Cappy's a talker. He's a man of the people.
he's a night owl.
He's like me. Like, if we hang out together at a Frozen Four, we're in trouble.
There's a 250 from a season finale. 314 when we had Molesky and Cappy on last year. 315, 226. Wow. 239.
I'm getting the sense this could be a battle. I'm starting to see some compete from the U.S. team.
Well, it's about time.
Like, I'm seeing the angry eyes. That's always a good sign.
No, it wasn't last week, Steve. Like I said, the longest broadcast we ever had was Molesky and Cappy last year for the Big Ten tournament preview.
A lot of competition for airtime on that one. We did okay, though, right?
We always do.
Yeah. This is fun. I had somebody reach out to me this week.
We're just hanging out is all we're doing for overtime.
I had somebody reach out this week with a little private message letting me know how much they enjoyed it. And I was like, man, I enjoy this just as much as anybody enjoys taking it in. You know, it's the highlight of the week for me.
I've thought about even doing, like road games, just doing a post game. Just get online, just talk for a little bit, just BS. Maybe I'll just do a solo and say, hi, feet, folks. Talk about what's going on today.
You know, if I had to empty a house too, Jupe, I'd be able to do that a little easier. I was just looking at my schedule for next weekend, the Wisconsin weekend.
Yeah.
My kids are playing in a jamboree in Bloomington.
Big.
Yeah, it's big. And I've got a lot of commitments that weekend.
Grounds.
I really wanted to go to the game on Saturday, but
I'm planning
it's going to work out. I think I can go Friday. But it's going to be complicated.
All right, I got to grab some more water here.
There you go.
Talks amongst yourselves.
I'll talk to myself. So I think with the announcers going to the arenas, it's been sort of an institution decision. Like Wisconsin and Michigan aren't allowing it as like the universities. It's not like a state thing. It's not like a Big Ten network thing. It's the institutions themselves are being challenging. I kind of feel like that's starting to change right now, but we'll see. With hockey, it might not matter because they don't seem to care as much about hockey as we do. I'm just glad to see that last Wisconsin game get on BTN. But yeah, I'll be at the big Thursday night.
What rink? All rinks?
I'll be at Thursday night. I'm on rink 3. On Saturday morning,
Olympic.
I'm on rink 1. Saturday afternoon, I'm on rink 3 again. And then on Sunday in the morning, or early afternoon, I'm rink 1. And then the evening, I'm on rink 2. So I'll get to see all 3 rinks with my teams.
Rink 3 is the one that Nick Angel picked up KBG. Kind of threw him down to the ice. I don't know if you played in that game. You might have.
I've played at Big 3 a couple times.
It's a big sheet.
I've hardly ever played at Big 1.
I think I've played there once.
I mean, I've done it a couple times. Back when I played AHA hockey, we used to do it at Big for our playoffs. We won a league title there.
Mm.
Yep.
Locker rooms are still small.
Locker rooms are small. The Labatt Blue was still very good after the game. Oh, they needed that one.
I love people just fall on their butts and cover up the crease.
Our Connecticut follower Sean is looking for. He's entered the chat. We've answered this question a couple times in the past.
Just go ahead and answer it for me.
Mike Crowley is Jupe's favorite player. That Jefferson Blue bias. I mean, Crowley was a phenomenal player. In today's NHL, Crowley's a fit, right?
Yes.
I mean, he
Just
would
missed
have
that.
had a better chance. I have a lot of heartstrings towards Corey Millen, as I was a budding fan during his stardom. And I like to tell the story that my parents had season tickets behind the visiting penalty box at Old Mariucci. We were like in row like 7 or 8 or something like that. And so the only way to like see breakaways and stuff would be to stand up on the bench and look over the glass a little bit. And when Corey Millen got the puck, everybody stood up. And it was just like an electric atmosphere that you just picked up on. And just seeing him streak up the ice was a lot of fun to watch. I'm also a big fan of the Hankinsons. All of them, Peter, Ben, Casey, all special place in my mind.
My mother went to school with their dad, high school. Originally Edina High School. 60. He might have been a year ahead behind, but around 1960.
I mean, how cool is it when you have like 3 kids go through program and all different kinds of players too, you know?
And Dad was a football player.
Yep. Dad was a football guy. And I think all those guys played multiple sports growing up.
Yeah.
I think in my older days, I was a big fan of like Larry Olam, Ryan Kraft. Like those were some of the players I liked a lot.
Yeah, one thing I always just remember that goal Crowley had late in the game, number 1 versus number 2 against CC. Rasmussen just feeds him in front of the net, and just the patience he had. He kicks it to his skate, and he just backhands it over. I think it might have been Ryan Bach or something like that. And the goalies just didn't know what the hell to do. He just fell down. He didn't know what to do. And they win the game. That was just one of my favorite highlights of all time. So that's one of the. But, come on, he was a magical player too.
He was a magical player.
You were telling me, you were talking about being it big, and I want to say about 10 years ago they finally refurbished Rink 1. Originally for 20, 30 years, Rink 1, it was a sand-based rink. There was sand under there. Permafrost went down 12 feet or something like that. It was that bad.
Yeah.
They never took the ice out.
Well, it's easier to repair pipes with sand. So that is the nice part about it. The bad part is it keeps shifting and it breaks pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Because that frost heaves and stuff. And sometimes you'll get the sand pops up and you'll actually see it through the ice because the ice gets really thin in those spots. Drake Arena has a sand floor in St. Paul. And during the summer, it gets really bad because it's kind of like the parking lot's above it. And so it's kind of downhill.
Mm-hmm.
So like all this water or moisture flows down under the rink and then kind of pushes up the sand. And like
University
sometimes
Minnesota watch party.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, I actually never knew that until I was following their site. Cause I want to say big opening around 1970 with Rink 1, and then they had Rink 2 in the 70s. Rink 3 was late 80s, early 90s. But the parking lot has 2 roads, 2 kind of main entrance there. The one of them on, I guess, would be the more east side. The street that goes strictly across is Abbott. And I lived on Abbott, but just on the other end where 102nd Street was. So I was always close. Okay, they got to do something real quick here, Viggs. I mean, they've had a couple nice opportunities.
They've had a couple nice chances here.
They just can't finish.
Start to the third here. Yeah, they got to finish. Got to win draws. Ooh.
Myers was doing pretty good on draws this whole week.
Yeah.
Like, I was noticing that.
I think Myers really impressed people with how he played in the Olympics. Like, he's a player. Like, we talk about, can guys go from college and fit right into the NHL? I think because the way Myers plays, he'll make a roster and be a player
This year.
Yeah.
I mean, you see any reason? Is there any rules that say he can't just sign with a team as soon as Minnesota's done playing? Timing and
I feel like he might not be eligible to play on a playoff roster.
well, wait a minute. Didn't well,
if you're drafted by a
That's
team and
right,
you sign,
he's not
you
drafted.
can play in the playoffs. But if you're a free agent, it's different. I'm not sure like when he would have to sign like to make that happen, but I wouldn't see him leaving early. Some people are throwing that out there because you're a skater, like you'll find a spot to play. So, and lots of teams would be happy to have Ben Myers in their roster.
He can only make so much though, can he? What's his?
Yeah, he'll make an entry level max, I bet, and I bet someone will burn this year off his contract to put him to RFA early.
So then, basically, any team would probably offer that, wouldn't they? So he can go where he wants.
He'll get to pick his spot.
Yeah,
and he'll get a max entry level deal, burn the year, and then he'll be unrestricted free agent at 27. So
in theory, if he can't make a playoff roster, can he play on an AHL team playoff roster?
I believe he can, but then he'd have to sign a ATO, an amateur tryout contract. I think it's weird. I think he would have to do that. There's a thing at the end of the year where guys go sign AHL deals, and if they sign a PTO, a professional contract tryout offer or something like that, that means the team like really wants you because they're paying you. Whereas an ATO, which is what some kids sign, they're basically like walk-ons for the end of the year.
Well, I was just thinking, if he might, let's say the Wild sign him, they play him till the end of the season. They can't just send him down to the AHL. He would just stop playing when the playoffs come and not go to the AHL.
I think so. I think maybe he could be like a black ace, where he practices with them through the end of the year, but he can't play. I think. I'm not the expert on this, obviously.
I know it's just weird rules.
It is a weird rule, but if you're an undrafted player, I don't think you can get added to a playoff roster.
Come on, gals.
But like a team like the Wild would be a good spot for Myers because I think they don't have the money to sign all the players like Bukestad and Sturm,
and they've been doing final.
Goligoski.
Yeah,
I think they're going to have a spot where they need somebody on a deal like Myers will have,
just for salary cap reasons.
Yep, there's a couple teams like that. Like I'm sure Vegas is in the same boat. Toronto's in that kind of boat, so he'll have options. I don't think you're going to see him sign with like Arizona.
Yeah, but then he could play in that new ASU arena.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he's been dreaming of that. Well, like Boston, that would make sense too. Like they're a team that needs players at the bottom of the lineup, and I know Billy.
Okay, you speaking of Boston, I was shocked that the NHL actually punished Marchand that much.
Yeah.
It was about time because, man, he's a fucking... Yeah, I can't stand him. Of course.
He's got a long history of bullshit like that.
What the hell was he thinking?
He's being who he is. Wasn't thinking.
Oh, penalty.
I don't know why I dropped my glove on the ice.
I don't know why I punched this goalie in the face. And then come after him with my stick. And the thing is, there's only one way to stop that kind of behavior, Biggs. I mean, you have to get to, 6 games, 15 games. I mean, seriously, or rest of the season, they have to do something like that if they are really interested in stopping that kind of behavior. Do we do this every week? During the season, Sean, we do. This is the GPL podcast. We do roughly the first, what do you say, 50 to 55 minutes of the show. That's the recorded audio podcast we put out every week. You can find that in all your podcast apps, Apple, Google Play, Spotify, even Amazon Music. And then after the show, we have this overtime. You can see it up in the corner here. Overtime is just us BSing. And a lot of times when we've got our guests on, the guests will do a lot. We'll talk about a lot of things that they don't really want to have it out.
Not out in a podcast, but
yeah, but it's a little. I mean, obviously, people can watch this recording live, and I usually like when I post the podcast now, I post this video first until I've had a chance to go back and cut it up and upload it, and then I replace it. But every week during the regular season, we try to get here. If the team's on a bye week, we'll take a week off. But and then obviously during December when they're not playing, we're not here. But we try to do this every week, don't we, Viggs?
Try to. We usually don't have, like now we got the U.S. Canada game on to kind of watch and keep us up.
So
But this is an unusual length.
Correct.
Of, just a Jupe and I overtime.
Typically, well, the funny thing is this year we've been kind of.
Somehow we still go long.
Well,
we say we don't want to.
We go at least an hour most of the time.
Yeah, we usually go at least an hour because I have a beer to drink. I got, it takes me an hour to drink this. I don't want to drink it fast. Okay, it's like
and I only drink when I don't have if it's like the Thanksgiving episode, and we have John King on, and I don't eat, and I drink an entire bottle of wine, and I'm pretty hammered by the end of the overtime. It happens. So Frozen for at the beginning of the season, Steve, boy. We were all over it. God, their power play stunk tonight, by the way. What the hell?
If they play like they've done the last couple games here, like if they play like they did against Ohio State, they have a chance. Because I think they'll have a relatively easy matchup in that first round if they, play the way we expect them to play. And then it's a one-game shot. Do they play like they did against Minnesota State last year? They're going to get out. They're going to get bounced. But if they play like they did against Ohio State, they're going to get through. Who knows? This could be the year, though. Yeah, Tim's exactly right. How did they lose to Alaska? How did that happen? Ridiculous.
Why don't you ask Bob that? Pull a Jess Myers. You think he'd be in a better position if...
Can you explain to me the Alaska game? Well, we lost our goalie. 3 players announced going to the Olympics. World Juniors got canceled. And we made some mistakes. We give the other team hope. That's probably what his answer would be. Hope's a dangerous thing.
Okay, Shawshank.
It is.
I'm not feeling it here, Viggs.
Gotta get one soon here.
As a Minnesotan, this is a very Minnesotan experience. What do you mean? our show? Should we be talking Minnesotan like this too? V's, you got the tater tot hot dish ready to go?
I got a tater tot shit.
Okay. I'm amazed always how much physical play is allowed to happen.
No kidding. I did have walleye tonight for dinner, by the way.
Ooh.
I didn't Instagram it, but I made some walleye.
Batter?
Minnesotan. I do like a thin kind of batter thing. I do a little egg and milk marinade, like a buttermilk, with some dill and garlic and salt and pepper. And then I put it in the flour, Ritz cracker, panko, spices, and then I do a little pan fry. So it's a light battering method. I have my green peas with it and rice. Ooh. I'd like to see second chances there.
Schifrin choked again. Can't finish combined. Slalom. Is in disbelief. Just saw the Fogler post that. I saw him. I didn't go and talk to him, but I saw he was at the Gopher Michigan game Saturday. Fogler, who posts all the videos.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He was there with his dad. He's kind of a couple back and forth. Yeah, he goes, I'm the guy with dad with his YZ jacket on. And I saw him leaving just a little bit early. I'm like, oh, there he is. That's got to be him. But it's a long ways away. But
yeah,
he is a Gopher fan.
Yeah, if he ever sees me, I will buy him a beer if he proves his identity to me. He does a lot of good stuff. That's like when the Brinkman thing came out, and I was like, I know CJ has a gif of it. Like,
and he had the gif of the nice, high stick last night. He gets everything.
He does a great job.
Florida listener. Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Catherine.
It's late for you in Florida, Catherine.
She's watching Canada USA, I bet.
I suppose. If they don't score here in the next couple of minutes, it's all she wrote. What kind of clear was that? Nice to have a Florida listener. Nice to have a Florida listener. Tune it in tonight as we watch the Canadians defeat the United States of America. Yeah, at least so far. Fogler earlier. U.S. needs someone who can hit a three. 3-pointer.
Did you see Vosters do his Chinese?
I did.
Tweets?
I saw that this morning.
I was like, that's pretty funny.
I'm glad he put it because it was a TikTok thing, but I'm glad he put it on Twitter. So
I'm not on TikTok. I have an account, but I don't generally waste my time going through that. I get caught in my Instagram reels enough.
Best Olympic sport outside of puck.
Curling? I probably not. I like it, but it's
the
not
men
the
end up
best.
winning. I saw them against Denmark, but I had to get ready for the show.
I was show focused.
Honestly, when it comes to Olympic sports, there's something about the 4x100 relay in swimming. When they all do their maybe it's the individual medley or something like that, where they're all like, one does the butterfly, one does the freestyle, one does it just seems like that became so huge, or the 4x100 freestyle.
I'm a sucker for the 100-meter dash. Fastest man in the world. Like, I'm a sucker for that. Like,
I missed it the most recent time.
Like, it's just kind of like one of those things. It's like, it's quick, it's fast, and it's like over in a blink,
No, see,
I don't know if there's anything like that in the Winter Olympics.
No, but
like I'm not into the figure skating. The downhill is interesting, but it's just like not one. There's like the slalom, there's the downhill, there's the Super G. I don't know, like, and it's always like on ice. It's like never like good snow. It's just like you're
it's all
down
artificial this time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't.
The world don't know the state of Minnesota beat the professional team. Well, they weren't 18-year-old college kids. That's the one falsehood there, Sean. I mean, there's quite a few Gophers on that team who had already graduated college on the 1980 team, if that's what you're referring to. Even Eruzione had already graduated from Boston University. So some of those guys were older.
I think it would have been like this year's Olympic team if they
maybe not quite that old. Maybe
they wouldn't have had like the Ness and Mealy and
correct.
And
they pull their goalie. They need to pull the goalie. 3 minutes left, down by 2. Pull them.
I think I see 6.
I couldn't see. I didn't look.
I see 4 forwards and 2D. I think they pulled it.
Be nice if they put a little note up on the screen since I've got no.
That'd be nice, right?
Okay, yeah, there's 4. There's got to be 2 defensive. Yeah, so they must have pulled. They do icy snow on purpose. I don't know. I might remove this audio or this message.
I know they do the icy snow on purpose for the slalom, but I don't know. It's just a weird deal for me. Like the downhill skiing is interesting, but it's not.
I don't mind the downhill and the Super G because it's fast and it's crazy and
it's almost too crazy for me though. And I like sports where there's a head-to-headness to it, like hockey.
Have you seen some of the snowcross?
I like the snowcross.
That's pretty interesting.
I like it, but it's not like as glamorous as like the 100-meter and stuff.
Yeah.
Where
you go?
Ooh.
Yeah. So some of the snowcross, I didn't get a chance to see any snowcross. I saw some individual snowcross stuff, like preliminary, something like that. But I've never. The ice skating thing,
like that's not really head-to-head type competition.
It's a judging thing. I'm not big. That's why I'm really actually not that big on gymnastics either. It's just too much of.
Part of me is like I really enjoy the cross country.
Oh, that's a check. Why is that not a check?
Because it's the USA Canada.
Still, this game's
but that's
over, folks.
That's a check.
She's hurt. It was a check.
Yeah.
Call a penalty.
They call it?
I think they did.
I got my volume off, so.
Well, I ain't have it on either, but it looks like, they're calling it 2 minutes.
Speed skating, maybe.
Oh, Poulin. Damn Canadians. Speed skating. Before a Rubes game once up on the super rink, there was like there was short track speed like practice before our game. Even with the Zamboni, there were just huge ruts in the ice from the practice. I mean, it was like a washboard.
Yeah.
Just inside the blue lines on both sides. It was like, oh my gosh.
Here's a chance.
Looks like they need a Stauber as a coach, huh?
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart.
I'd agree with that. No, but for Sean and was it Catherine, we don't usually stay up this late, but it's Olympic hockey.
We have a game to watch.
Yeah, we're kind of watching.
We actually usually talk to each other more than watch.
True, and then a lot of times we have a guest, so the guest is with us. And
this is a unique one.
I would agree. It was definitely more unique.
It's unique OT.
Okay, you've got 2 extra people here. You should be able to move the puck decently.
Well, the key is here not to turn the puck over.
You take a shot at that angle, it's going to come out of the zone every time, Biggs.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm a little behind you, but
I got 126, 125, 124.
no.
Well, I reset 2 because I was
Missed the net again.
because I did
Ooh, scramble. That's the kind of stuff you need to do when you have a 6-on-4 is get shots with traffic and follow up here. Like that's where you get your goals.
Well, I was looking at the power
Situation.
play time, by the way. I've got 20 seconds. Sorry, I was looking at the power play time. Oops.
Goalie without a stick.
Goal. 12.5 left. Kessel.
Hey.
I believe it was Kessel.
Yeah.
Going to lose by a goal. Sorry. Chance of them scoring another goal. Ugh. Now he's almost pulled it off with 9 seconds left last night. By the way, those shootout attempts were bad.
Yeah.
They were just terrible. I mean, people are going to rip on the coach for not getting the Michigan kid in there, but he might not have had a great attempt either. 12.5 seconds. Oh, wow. Silver. Canada coach, why are you delaying? Just let them finish. Don't let them get rest. Goalie's already pulled. That's good. What are they complaining about here?
They're trying to get rest for their players, I bet.
Come back in the Olympics from a 3-goal deficit, except for the preliminary game back in 1998, 24 years ago, but certainly not in a gold medal game. So for Team USA to pull within 1, here's a look at, that's a beautiful pass from Alex Carpenter, too. As you can see, she was backing up, found the seam. You've got that pass.
That was a great look.
Both Comfer and Kessel out front. Can't cover both of them, and Kessel's the one who bangs home the rebound.
Is Comper related to the Michigan JT
I don't
Comper,
know.
do you think?
I don't know.
Added a second onto the clock, 13.5 left right now for Team USA.
Won the face up and went all the way back. Oh, jeez.
At least they didn't go in.
Yep. That's all she wrote, folks. One day we'll have another champion besides Canada or US.
Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a while, yeah.
How much longer will Olympics keep doing it? Because
I think hockey.
That's why they shut down softball too. I mean, for women's, it was just US, and then like, okay, we're not doing this anymore.
I think hockey's a little different than softball because softball is so American focused.
Yeah,
but like hockey has got U.S., Canada, Finland. What's the fourth nation? Is it Sweden yet?
Well, Sweden beat the U.S. some time ago that prevented them from getting a gold medal game. It was the only time that they didn't. I think they faced each other in the Olympics. I should say there was one time Sweden did, but
as long as you have at least 3 or 4 teams to make it real,
they don't. They just don't. I mean, didn't Canada just beat Sweden like 11-1 or something? It's just like it's tough.
They'll keep it around because hockey is a revenue sport for the Olympics too. Like a USA Canada gold medal game will always sell tickets. It will,
unless there's a pandemic.
Unless there's a pandemic. And then...
All right, folks, we need to go to bed.
Yeah, whew.
It's a late
Thanks for
one.
sticking with us.
2:49.
Well, pretty good. Pretty good for just 2 of us.
Thanks for sticking with us, folks. There's still 20 of you left. Not as exciting overtime because we're kind of paying attention to a game, but it's always fun, Biggs.
Appreciate all the questions and all the chatters.
Yes.
Uh,
And some new listeners. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. 9:30 Central. We're live we try to do this live.
we'll have Todd on.
Todd
That'll be good.
Milewski. We always go late with him too.
I know he's a night owl too.
Well, he's got so much information too. He's got a
Yeah.
book of every.
He's a giver.
He is.
He
We like
deserves that pizza that we're gonna get
him.
Friday night. Find pizza somewhere. Maybe I'll give him to Young Joni or something. Fancy pizza.
Ooh, fancy.
Or black sheep. Coal-fired pizza. Be good
Get him
too.
some punch. What kind of punch pizzas does he like?
Well, we've done punch. We've done that before. So we gotta spice it up a little bit.
The only thing is he's always at the rink so late.
No, we gotta do it before. Pre-game pizza. Take the day off on Friday. Afternoon.
I
Take
wish-
the afternoon off. Half day.
I don't think I could because I'm covering for people who are out right now.
You could telecommute from the pizza parlor. It's the new world. You do whatever you want.
Oh boy. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Sounds
Later,
good.
gang.
Later.